Welcome to the Positively Star Wars Senate podcast. This is Obi-Wan Kenobi. May the Force be with you.
Looky, Senator. Decent Jedi arriving.
Let's make this our best show ever!
I will sign no treaty, Senator.
I am the Senate.
This is the way.
Hello Star Wars fans and welcome to episode 33, the January 2023 episode of the Positively Star Wars Senate podcast. This episode is recorded on Sunday the 8th of January 2023, using the powerful dyad of the Force, which pairs two Force-sensitive beings, making them one in the Force and showing a connection that spans across time and space, otherwise known as Microsoft and Skype in this case. My name is Stephen, the Chancellor of the Senate, the obligatory Brit contingent in this otherwise American crew, as we all get together to talk positively about Star Wars for roughly the next few hours. This episode is brought to you by Wrecker,
The cavalry has arrived!
a clone commando of the Clone Force 99 who, due to genetic mutations, is much larger and stronger than the average clone. We would also quite often like to say, let's blow something up! That's about as good as I can do for now. Anyhow, so, as ever, before we get into things proper, it's time to have a quick word from our sponsors.
Do you know what's going on? Maybe it's another drill.
And that is indeed very quick. They're just getting quick every episode they are. Thanks very much to our sponsors. So, whereas I'm in the UK, I am also, as ever, joined with my positive friends from across the great vast pond in the United States of America. And this month I have, in Skype random order, Ron.
Greetings and salutations, Senators and Chancellor.
Ricky.
Hello.
Ryan.
Hello there.
And Marie.
Hello.
Hello, yes. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so on this month's show, roughly, we will be talking about, if anybody can remember, I can't, but we'll be talking about the last few episodes of Andor, which seems like a long time ago now. I've had a few mince pies at Christmas since then. And we'll also be talking about the first couple episodes of The Bad Batch. But as ever, we start each episode talking about what everybody's been up to in Star Wars land this last 30 days. And we shall see, firstly, what Ron has been up to.
Oh my, it's been a busy bit. Most recently, I can say that now's the time to go hit your Hallmark stores and your Targets and Walmarts. That after Christmas clearances time frame is happening now. Hallmark has a good number of Hallmark has a good number of Christmas ornaments. They have Star Wars ornaments year in and year out. Your mileage may vary. You have to hit a bunch of. Actually, I've had luck on the website or seen people having luck on the website. But you can find those ornaments for 50, 75% off. So I managed to get what I think is pretty much the entire 2022 allotment of ornaments out there. Even found there's a limited edition IG. It's not 88. Who is it that rescues Baby Yoda? Anyway, IG-11. IG-11 and Grogu. I only ever seen that once. Picked it up as soon as I saw it, obviously. And also saw miniatures of Jango Fett and Obi-Wan ship. Two ship. I mean, they're small. It's a crazy pack that's no bigger than like 2 quarters. Big, very small miniatures. And Target again, as your mileage may vary, but I've found a good number of clearance things at Target. Managed to pick up a number of Black Series. Target had the Jawas. So I've got my I've got my Halloween fodder, my trick-or-treat fodder for this coming trick-or-treat, because I managed to scoop all the Jawas off a shelf that were marked down for like 75% off. So I've got my trick-or-treat fodder for the year coming up. So Christmas was a good Christmas time. Don't know that I have a picture of it, but my very artistic sister-in-law made me a marionette. She had gotten into marionettes there. Goes through various phases, made me a marionette of Obi-Wan Kenobi. And I will scroll through and drop a picture of this bad boy in the chat. And then, obviously, catching up on Star Wars. Bad Batch episodes dropped, which was just a wonderful treat, and finished up the last bit of Andor. Obviously, I haven't read anything in that time. I will leave that to more so inclined folks that can do that, decipher it for me, and then talk about it with me, and talk me into listening to some audiobook. But I think that's it for me for my bit of Star Wars, unless I think of anything else.
Very good. I forgot to say in the introduction, of course, we have the annual Positively Star Wars Podcast Senate annual quiz this episode. So I can't believe I forgot that, considering I spent about 3 hours preparing the questions. You'd think I wouldn't be able to forget that in the intro, but that's coming up after we've done Andor and the Bad Batch. But next, it's Ricky.
Hello. We've been doing some reading. Did catch up on some High Republic stuff. I don't know. The one that we just read.
Convergence.
Convergence. I finished that, and then I started the audiobook for the Search for the Hidden City.
Or you talk about Battle for Jeddah.
Yeah, no, I haven't started that one yet. I'm like 2 hours left of the audiobook for Quest for the Hidden City, so it's been pretty good. I don't know. I'm enjoying these books. They're a little different, but pretty good. And then what else? Just been watching. I watched Bad Batch. I did start watching Book of Boba Fett again, which that show's good. I'm enjoying the second time around. And then I picked up some stuff over Christmas. I got a little RC Commando with Grogu in the back, so he's pretty fun to play with. My daughter got me that for Christmas. But yeah, it's been pretty good. I've been just doing that, playing Boba Fett Monopoly. That's been fun. And then I can't even remember what else I got for Christmas besides the some little things here and there in the stockings. But yeah, it's been pretty good. Just trying to read books and get prepared for the rest of the run going on. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it.
Very good. Most people listening don't know this, but I have to put in the chat. I just had a mince pie and a cup of tea delivered to me, and I'm just trying to score as much mince pie as I can when people are chatting.
What's a mince pie?
You didn't got mince pies over there.
Is it meat?
Is it meat pie?
No.
Is it the Baker Street?
It's nothing. It used to be meat. It used to be meat, but now it's how can you explain it? It's like sultanas and pieces of fruit peel and all very sweet in a little sweet pastry based thing. And lovely.
You're gonna ruin your dinner, Stephen.
About that. No, I haven't actually. No, I've got that to come. One's just posted about that Yoda cup, and it reminds me I had a football cup years ago, and the most awkward things to drink out of ever because of the curve at the top by the lip. And
my Vader and Chewbacca ones are like that.
Yeah, you end up dribbling or burning your lips off as you're trying to drink out of it. So
the Yoda cup he's talking about is a tiki mug, and they themed my other sister-in-law themed my Christmas gift, and I got Midori a melon liqueur, so it's a green liquor, the Yoda cup, and she found a book with adult drink recipes, Star Wars adult drink, put a bookmark in it. So I was all excited to make my Yoda drink, and my green drink, if you will, so to speak, whatever. And I open up the Geeky Tiki with Grogu and go to pour the drink in, and inside the cup you can see it's black. I don't know. I mean, it's the whole fun of making this green drink is completely lost because you just can't tell inside the mug. I'm drinking it and I made it and I know, but I couldn't show it to, it just, it failed miserably. It was good. I liked it. It was an awesome
gift. A Dory sour that you made or something?
Exactly. Yep. Just real quick.
It's a Yoda sour.
I just wished, I wished it was, wished it was white so that I could show off my green drink.
I did that with blue milk one time, and it was in a cup you couldn't see through. So it was kind of pointless.
Well, you could do that with my Geeky Tiki because it's a Jabba the Hutt.
Is he white inside?
He's white inside.
Okay.
Who knew?
Yeah. I'm looking at my Jabba the Hutt one right now. It looks more like a planter than it does like an actual something that you can drink out of, and it has a little salacious crumb that's like a little tiny shot glass.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, the
whatever it goes like. So I wasn't very.
to Stephen's point, yeah, it was a little bit tricky to drink out of, and I
Yeah,
don't know how
the
long he's
best
gonna
shot
last because
look at.
his ears are gonna eventually. But it was another cool Christmas gift.
Ron, for the marionette, you should write the Force on the little handle so he can be connected to the Force all the time.
Okay.
So yeah, the marionette in the chat, the picture that I posted, to me looks a little more old Luke, but she knows I like Obi-Wan, so I knew that's what she was going for.
It's a bit more like Ben with a beard to me.
Okay.
Not Ben. Help me out here. Uncle Owen.
Uncle Owen, yeah.
With a grey beard, yeah.
I need to get a better picture of the lightsaber hilt because my sister-in-law, the artist, is fantastic in making the marionette over there, and her husband, his task, he always makes sure that the lightsaber hilts are dead on accurate because she made me a Yoda years ago, and his part of the project, he makes the lightsaber piece. So he went to great lengths to go to hardware stores and find all the right kind of little grommets and types of things to make this very accurate Obi-Wan. And he tells the story that the sister-in-law was like, don't worry about it, you're being too. He's like, no. This is going to Uncle Ron. We've got to make sure this is spot on. So I appreciate his attention to detail.
Yeah, that costume was pretty accurate. It's good.
It's really
Ron,
good.
I have this thing where even if I'm not gonna buy it, whenever I go to the grocery store, I walk through the cereal aisle just to see if there's Star Wars cereal.
I do the same,
and I'm always disappointed because I never find any. So seeing that Frosted Flakes thing you posted,
that was apparently that's at an Ollie's. Your mileage is going to vary.
Yeah, we don't have Ollie's here.
Till they a discount type of store or whatever. But apparently that cereal was given out at Celebration. The box of cereals were given out at Celebration or something like that. So I remember being a bit like, oh man, missed out on something. But then to see it blown out the discount store, there's two sizes there. There's a regular box and a family size box. So bit of a neat food collectible that was found as well.
It's still good from Celebration.
I really think the box is neat. Because it's Star Wars. I did not partake in the cereal. I like Frosted Flakes, but the light side, dark side, the chocolate. No, it just
take it with you when you go to Celebration next time and just eat it.
Should have been a Hoff flavored Frosted Flakes, shouldn't it? Okay. We've got to move on anyway. Okay, Brian, your turn.
It's my Star Wars in this past month. For Christmas, I got a little B2 emo Funko Pop, as I have a ton of those. So, which surprisingly, the head bobbles. So I really enjoyed that one. And I know on the previous podcast I mentioned I probably wasn't going to buy the Convergence book, but I knew it wasn't going to appear. It wasn't appearing in my library, any of my apps that I used to get it. So I caved in and I found the book. So I bought Convergence, and I'm about 3/4 of the way through it as of this morning. So the High Republic Convergence book. So I'm really enjoying it. So hopefully I'll be able to finish that here in the next week. So other than that, just trying to watch. I only watched a couple episodes of Rebels. I can't say what I finished on, so I totally forgot. But that's pretty much my Star Wars. And Convergence is the main thing, and just following along in the High Republic.
Okay, very good. Now I'm trying to speak with a mouthful of mince pie. Okay, Marie, you're next.
It's been pretty light on the Star Warsing, actually. I went back and I watched the sequel trilogy. I've been sick for the last couple weeks, or I had been sick for the last couple weeks because I came down with COVID right before Christmas. So I had a lot of time to sit and watch things. And one of the things I did was I watched the sequel trilogy, and I just really enjoyed it this time around. I don't know. I was probably just bored out of my skull. But I really, really got to sit down and just watch it and enjoy it. My Christmas was pretty light on the Star Wars, but I did get an Amazon exclusive Grogu Funko Pop, which I will have to take a picture of it for you guys at some point, or share my picture of it in any case. But that's really it at this point. I did watch The Bad Batch, of course. I watched it last night right before the storm hit, and I ended up staying up till midnight and then woke up at 4 a.m. So here I am. Other than that, I don't see any books that have grabbed my attention thus far, but one of these days, something or another will grab my attention, and I'll probably read it. And that's really it for now.
Okay, just looking at the photo of your Jabba cup in quotes, I would put that. You're right, it looks like a flower pot, doesn't it? But
It really does look like a flower pot. And
Are those
I
the
would
ones you can
find
get
that
at the cantina, right? Nogas?
good. This one was a Celebration exclusive, actually, from the celebration before the Anaheim celebration before last, so like 2017, maybe, I think.
I don't remember.
17, 18, whenever that last one was before COVID hit, and then that was I actually went out of my way to order it from Celebration because I didn't go that year.
It's a bit like a special edition Jabba, when he's a bit more green.
Yeah, he's a bit more greenish. He's got kind of like a yellow base, and he's greenish. So yeah, he's yellow on the inside actually. So my bad, but the point still stands. You could probably still see the green really well.
Yes. Okay. Right. Thank you very much, everybody. We're moving along, and we have got to go back in time a little bit here now to have a final say on Andor.
My name is Marva Karasi Andor. I'm honored to stand before you. I'm honored to be a daughter of Tharix, and honored to be worthy of the stone. A stranger. Feels if I can see you.
Through the midst of time, we actually never got around to discussing the last 3 episodes, do we say?
Yeah, 3.
Yeah, last 3.
3. So we're going to have to...
No more than 12.
No more than 3, yeah. So we're going to have a... I haven't scripted this, so Ryan, were you going to plan to...
I have the episode recap up, if you want me just to touch that real quick.
Excellent. That's the spirit. Thank you very much. Yes, go for it.
Okay, so episode 10, if you remember, is the finale of the prison break. So by breaking a water pipe and flooding his work floor, Cassian disables the floor's security system, allowing work crews there to overpower the few guards and escape. Kino uses the prison's intercom system to encourage other floors to escape, and the rebellion sweeps through the entire prison. Despite his role in escape, Kino reveals that Tyr, he can't swim. Cassian swims with the other escapees and reaches land. Mon Mothma meets with Davo Skaldin, a shady businessman who offers to help finance her projects, but Mon refuses after Davo requests that Mon arrange a meeting between her daughter and his son, an initial step towards marriage in their Chandralian culture. ISB supervisor Lottie Jung, secretly a rebel informant, meets with Luthen and updates him on ISB activities. The two men reflect on how they are both trapped in their roles. And that was episode 10, One Way Out. So I gotta say, like, that, what a punch to the gut that was when Kino, which I've loved since the beginning, and his Never More Than 12 was probably the best whole scene in the entire series for me. Just that one statement. And then it gets to the very end and he's just like, I can't swim. And really, we have no idea what happened to him after that.
You think he would have said something about that when they were planning this whole thing?
Yeah. Did they not know they were in like a big lake? That's what I was kind of wondering. I mean, unless they were pulled on with bags over their heads, I don't recall what Andor was able to see, because he was shown coming to the prison planet, but I don't know if he got to look out the window type of thing.
Yeah, my recollection was he tried, but I don't think he could see very much. They land at the landing platform and they're there like with the door open, and the guy kind of points out about the floors and shocked him and everything. But if you didn't turn around to look, we, from our point of view as the audience, saw that there was water behind them, but the prisoners, if they don't turn around to look at that open door, they don't see it. And even that, then, do they even if they were to see that, I don't think they would know that they're completely surrounded by water. But boy, I'd run back into the facility and find something that I think might float.
Like a
Not
door.
that not that there's going to be a lot in there that probably could float or whatever. But yeah, you could just the fear factor of someone that just that has no idea. But it's a great line, a great tagline, a great way to deal with a character so that you don't have to, but could if you want him to come back later, type of thing. Whatever. It's very good. Episode 10. That was the one with you mentioned about the rogue the rebel infiltrator that was working for the Empire that comes. This was the episode that had the two not mantras but speeches, right? You had Kino Loy's speech to the prisoners, and then isn't that the one then at the end of the episode they have they're meeting there in the elevator lift at the end of
he does have that speech with them where he's like, well, we're both traps, we both have to do things to escape, type of things. We're locked in these roles because he wants to get out. Lonnie's like, I don't want to do this anymore, it's getting too dangerous. And how he says they're going to discover the other guy that works for him, the bigger dude, I forgot his name. And again, Luthen's just like, well, if he gets captured, he gets captured, the rebellion's going to live on. So it's showing that he, his care is the rebellion, not the people. He wants to destroy the Empire regardless of the cost, type of thing.
I did love the way that scene looked when they're talking there. It was like, I got Empire Strikes Back kind of vibes from them walking in that stairway with the elevator there. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. It does impart a sort of the rebellion is now bigger than any one individual. There's no getting out. You don't want to do this anymore. It has to live. We all know it does, but yeah, how does it get to that point, and what sacrifices are made? Who's lost to get to a point where the good guys can attack, Scarif can attack the Death Star. There's it's just such a powerful speech in showcasing what he has sacrificed or what he's done to get to this point, what he's orchestrated, what it kind of helped to sort of paint a much bigger picture as to what has gone into all of this to get us this far, that right now your sacrifice has to be worth it now at this point. There's no getting out.
Yeah. So, and I think it was what else? Oh, the whole, and this drove me crazy when it originally came out. All these people were like rallying against Mon Mothma, like she's selling her daughter off. And even though it was revealed that it was her Chandrilan culture, she adamantly said, "No, I don't want to do this." And they were having the meeting with this guy, and when he offered, well, I would just like our kids to meet. I'm not scheduling an arranged marriage, but they just need to meet. But she knew what it was going to lead to, type of thing, and she's blatantly said pretty much no, get out. But then I've seen a whole bunch of people on the internet being like, well, she's trying to get. I was like, no, she's not. Like, she stood for her belief and said, get out.
I agree. I didn't quite understand where that sort of vitriol came from in the internet in terms of did I miss something? She was, as soon as she realized what he suggested, she was like, yeah, no chance. So
yeah.
And I kind of missed too where the daughter was agreeable to it, but she doesn't run away kicking and scream, I guess, and that's in the next episode maybe or whatever. So maybe that's where people are thinking that that's the case or whatever, but that the daughter is sort of getting sucked into that Chandrilan history, and rightfully so. I could see she's sort of rebelling against her mom, who kind of turned her nose to it. She's getting into it for whatever reason. But to me, the way her daughter is taking to this arranged marriage, if you will, even though that's not what happened, that hurts even more the Monmouth. Hurt's not the right word, but it just makes her that much more a tragic character. We've already seen so much in her, so more, because she didn't want that for her daughter. She wasn't going to do that to her daughter. As much as she wanted the brother, wasn't going to do that. But yet it's happening anyway. And so, it's just that much more of, this poor lady, this poor character. She's got so much, so many weight on her shoulder. It's just, that one was just when you kind of find out her daughter's agreeable to it and she wanted no part of it. That one is just really hits home. It's
her
very.
daughter's like, Her daughter's like rebelling against the nonconformity of her mom. Like,
Yeah.
you know.
She doesn't want
Yeah,
any. She doesn't want that Syndrillan culture, and she's like, "Well, now I do." And then the dad's okay with it, so it's
Yeah.
2 against 1, and she's just like, "Gosh,
Don't
dang
they
it."
show her like in that room with the other girls that are all dressed the same and they're doing some kind of like
Yes.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
can't
they
remember what
do.
it
They do.
That's where she realized she's getting into that culture, or diving
it's an
into it.
occult. No.
Yeah, it's like a religious ceremony or
Yeah.
religion class or something. It sounds like it sounds
Yeah.
almost like a CYC or whatever that was, like the gosh, that after school Catholic school stuff.
Yeah, religious history. Yeah, it did seem like a Syndrillan religious history type of group meeting where they were going over the things. And yeah, so anyway, that was a cool, tough thing to see a character go through. To know that's yet something else that's going to impact Mon Mothma and all that she has to deal with in season 2. Looking forward to her arc.
And it
Struggle.
has an interesting thing that you guys might not see, but I totally do, because I am a daughter to a mother, and this is a mother that has broken mold so that her daughter doesn't have to do what she did, and she's just trying so hard to fit back into the mold. So I can imagine her pain as just speaking as an actual female, her pain at thinking, God, I did all this so that you wouldn't have to, and look what you're doing now. You're just going right back to what I was trying to get you to not follow in the first place, but you just want to be a little conformist. Some girls just want to do what girls do. So it was interesting that in that aspect of it.
Yeah. So, anything else on episode 10 then? Like I said, that the speech was powerful, and I think that was the big part of it. That arc, great, and I hope to see more Kino, like Ron said. He left him open.
Wait, so it
for
didn't
more.
end with him saying I can't swim and then cut out. It went to the other conversation. I gotta rewatch
Yeah,
it.
it ended with Luthen and the guy talking in the basement.
It's also another one of those occasions which, when it irks me in TV and stuff, and then do Star Wars with TV, when people jump from great heights into water and they're all okay. I get told if you jump from heights that you just land. The further you jump from, the more you end up jumping. It's like jumping onto concrete because the higher that you jump from. But they all seem to be. It seemed to be like it wasn't quite as high as I remembered it when they landed. So I don't know. Maybe
Just don't belly flop.
Yeah, certainly don't want to do that. No, that's absolutely. And obviously, there's a complete lack of life rafts. But then, as we know, Empire health and safety standards aren't what they used to be.
No.
So.
And you're hoping there's like no creatures in that water either.
Exactly, it's got to be
Yeah,
something.
There's always a bigger fish.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yes. Okay, next episode, wherever it was, episode 11.
11, Daughters of Ferrix. So Marva dies. Excuse me. Marva just dies. So off screen, prompting a funeral ceremony on Ferrix, which Deidre Merrow encourages in the hopes that Andor will attend. Bell informs Clea about Marva's death and learns of Mon Mothma's reluctant plan to marry off her daughter to secure funding through Davos Skulden. Mon's daughter, Leda, begins taking part in in group gatherings focused on Chandrillian culture and traditions, much to the distress of Mon and Vel. Cyril Karn also learns about the funeral from his old work buddy, his old boss, Linus. Saw Gerrera decides at the last moment to assist Krieger's attack on Spellhaus, but Luthen advises against it, revealing that the ISB know about the impending assault. While returning to Coruscant, Luthen escapes from an Imperial patrol, destroying several TIE fighters and a tractor beam with a bunch of crazy weapons. With help from Caridinians Dewey and Freedy, I can't remember their names, Cassian and fellow prisoner Melshi are able to escape. Oh, those are the two aliens. Are able to escape from Narcon 5 and travel to Niemos to recover Cassian's belongings. After Cassian discovers that Marva has passed, Cassian and Melshi part ways, intending to publicly expose the Empire's unjust prison system. So on that one, I gotta say it was kind of surprising to see Melshi go, but it also makes sense.
Yeah.
He's like, well, we need to spread the word, and Cassian's like, I got to handle some personal business. And he's like, okay, well, I'll just meet up with you later. He didn't think it was that important. He was just like, we'll meet back up again, brother. And they went the other way.
Yeah, I wonder who got who into Mon's cell. Was it Melchi bringing Cassian into that cell, or was it Cassian bringing Melchi in? Because they both worked for Mon and Bale, I guess. Was it Mon and Bale?
Yeah.
It was mostly just Mon, right?
That did
in
what?
Rogue One. In Rogue One.
Oh,
That was
okay.
later. Yeah, like who brought who into that rebel cell? But I guess
most
they part
likely-
ways for now.
Yeah, I mean, they might beat back up. If anything, it might be. Well, then again, what is it? Cassian pretty much joins. Spoiler for the last episode, joins Luthen, and most likely Melchi just goes out and meets other rebels and come up, and they're like, "Hey, we're both on the internet. We're both on here now." So
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's also Marva's death off screen. Again, there's a lot of interesting choices that if you look at it after the fact, it makes sense. So rather than deal with like this big, long, drawn out death, it's just
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, she died of old age. She didn't sacrifice. She didn't do all this. She just passed away.
Well, and it,
You know,
it left it like
okay.
I kept thinking that she was gonna show up, like if it was like some kind of ruse or something,
Yeah, that, or she never got to tell, or Cassie never got to tell her that, oh, it was me, type of thing. But that's really not his character
Right.
either. So there's all these expectations that kind of people have, but then after the fact, like after everything's calmed down, you're like, that was a good decision. Just having her pass away, and then her final moment being her big speech in the final
Yeah.
episode. So this was more
Somehow
just
Marvel returned.
yeah,
Some, I was
more
going
of
to say
a-
myself. I always figured that she knew that Andor was involved in all that other stuff anyway. I got the feeling that she knew, but they just one of those things that were unsaid between them.
Yeah, this was more of a gathering episode. So they're putting everybody in place, putting the story back together. Again, Saw Gerrera stuff was interesting because he's like, all right, I'm ready to fight. And again, Luthen's like, no, we're just going to let everything pass. He almost said, you're more valuable than others. He didn't want to risk losing Saw.
Yeah, because like that would have been like, I mean, whoever was gonna go in there and help that other guy was gonna just get taken out. So which did that happen in this episode? Or was that the next one when they actually show all that stuff going on? I can't remember. No, it was this episode.
It should have been this episode because
Yeah.
the next episode was
When they showed
was
the guy's
all-
face, just real quick, like or as a hollow, the guy that they were trying to go at, that Krieger, what was his name?
Oh, yeah.
Anto Krieger, right?
Anto Krieger.
Yeah,
Well,
so
it can't be Saw because Saw's not gonna get taken out. So, yeah.
yeah,
And then
Saw
think
has
it's great.
returned.
then the awesome Luthen shooting lasers out of his ship.
Oh, is that this one? Was that this
Yeah,
one?
that was this one.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's
Yeah.
the most Star Wars thing to happen in this whole in this whole
And he
series.
freaking like, I don't care about your tractor beam, like
launches shrapnel at it, which I think they were pretty surprised at. They're like, nobody does that anymore.
Yeah,
Like, it's all these old weapons that nobody uses or way of thinking. It's like, oh, they can't shoot at us, so he just throws shrapnel, and it's brilliant. Throws a bunch of rocks at a tractor beam that sucks up all the rocks.
yeah. That's,
whatever.
who
That's
would have
a-
knew that you could do that? Like, why would you just shoot at the ship pulling you in? But I guess they would have shields on. I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe they
did he wait till he got really close or something and then released it?
I think so.
Did those things shoot at that ship, or did the tractor beam suck them in?
I think the tracker beam shucked him in. Like he
Yeah,
dumped. That's how I
that's
view
kind
it.
of what. That's kind of how I viewed it too. It does kind of look like they shoot out of there, but then I was like, well, but there's also some aspect of, would a tractor beam be its own detriment in that sense, right? If you throw a bunch of shrapnel out, although, let's see, I guess the ship is trying to pull away, so that's why the
Yeah.
ship's not necessarily
He
getting
increased
sucked
it to
in.
full-
The shrapnel
Increased
just
it to
gets
full
dropped out.
strength.
Yeah.
That was one of those
Kept-
things where like I really wish they wouldn't have put this on the trailer.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, like what? I don't know.
That laser thing was insane.
Did we see the laser thing in the trailer? I remember seeing the ship.
No, there was this TV spot that Ron had saw, and
Ah.
then like, yeah, I looked it up, and like, yeah, they totally showed it in the commercial. Like, but I mean, it was still cool regardless. It just wasn't a surprise. It was like
that was a really good.
I was
that
waiting,
really
yeah,
good
waiting
sequence.
forever for it.
like waiting, when's the ship gonna? Yeah, I knew when he pulled up with the TIE fighter stuff, like, oh, this is gonna be it. But yeah, that was pretty cool. That ship just is all full of gadgets. So much stuff in that ship.
I just mean it's too much on the outside. I think, isn't there? It's just too much going on.
On the design on the outside of it.
Yeah, the outside. Yeah, I mean, not there's anything wrong with it, but it just looks like it's got horrible growths all over it, doesn't it? But yeah,
It's all weapons.
yeah.
Well, episode 11 is where we got a lot of Saul Guerrera, and I thought it was some great dialogue there between them, and again talking about how the rebellion is bigger, that they were Luthen was willing to sacrifice because of the known what the Imperials potentially knew about it. They had to keep it, they couldn't call it off. Saul wanted them to call it, that sacrifice of the other character's name. I'm drawing a blank on, damn it. Just it gets back to what we talked about previously about how this rebellion is growing larger than individuals or small pieces, whatever. It is fun to see the sort of Saul Guerrera, I don't want to say disdain, or his way of doing things versus the others, and how that played out in Rogue One, and why they were so fractious in their rebellion efforts and how they wanted to handle things. But I just remember that Saul piece being a good part of a good dialogue. Boy, it's been so far removed now, I can't remember it all, but just a good storyline, a good story thread to help tie this to the rebellion. That I've heard people, I guess what I'm trying to say, people, the Andor show, what do we care about Andor? And that's the name of the show. It could have been named so many other things, perhaps, in terms of Spark of the Rebellion, Birth of a Rebellion, whatever, some weird stuff, whatever. But while it's about Andor, and it's not about Andor, but it's about Andor's way into the rebellion, that I appreciate these completely scenes that have nothing to do with Andor, if you will, so to speak. That scene with Saul and Luthen, just all that was all about the rebellion and nothing to do with Andor. But he will eventually get sucked into the fold of the rebellion that's growing and it's becoming a thing. That was very well done, I guess I should say.
Yeah, I was thinking it was named for Marva Andor, so it's kind of like both of their stories, So,
well, I mean, it's like all the side characters that are stealing it too. Like I'm watching it for Mon and Luthen. I mean, what they're doing to build the rebellion and how they butt heads is just amazing to me.
Then they had that whole episode with Mando and Grogu showing up.
Yes.
All right, so what was the next one? That was the finale, right? The Rick's Road.
As they say, penultimate issue. That was Daughter of Ferrix.
Yeah, that was Daughter of Ferrix.
Then the finale is Rick's Road. So anything else? Again, 11 was more of a gathering and recentering type of thing. So anybody else have anything on 11? Boop. Okay. Oh, real quick. The two aliens. I did like them. They were very, very alien. They're like alien brothers or whatever, which I didn't even know they were the same species until people were pointing it out. But in their weird spider web net type thing. So it was good to see very alien aliens inside the episodes. So I thought they were pretty neat.
Yeah, I thought they weren't going to help them, and then they ended up being nice. So.
Yeah, me too. I was like, oh man, just bad luck.
They're going to eat them or something.
They were quite, they're quite comedy, from what I remember, a bit like comedy aliens, weren't they? A bit, from what I remember.
They were comic relief, yeah.
Yeah, they were. They didn't really quite fit in with a lot of the seriousness of the show so far, but it was all right. It was brief.
They, like Ricky said, it kind of made you fear, like, oh man, they're going to turn them in, and they're just like, nah, get them out of here. We don't like the Empire. So cool.
Yeah.
Were they fishing? I'm trying to remember. Were they fishing?
I don't know what they were doing.
Like they were.
Scrapyard? Or... No, yeah.
It seemed like they were. Yeah, but there's not much to catch because the Empire's basically like ruined the ecosystem.
Oh yeah.
It's just like fishing generally, then, isn't it? Yeah. not sitting around and yeah, fair enough.
All right, so episode 12, Rick's Road. So Cassian returns to Ferrix for Marva's funeral and learns of Bix's, his female friend, Bix's imprisonment.
Repeat listenings that cause the most damage. Are we ready? Let's get on with it.
Dedramiro and the local Imperial garrison prepare to use the funeral to capture Andor for questioning regarding access, while Luthen plans, with Vel and Cinta's assistance, to kill Cassian using the Imperial ambush as cover. The ISB succeed in stopping Krieger's attack, off-screen, but leave no prisoners, angering Miro, because I think it was something like dead men tell no tales type of stuff. Mothma's 13-year-old daughter, oh, I thought she was older than that, wow. 13-year-old daughter, Lita, is introduced to Davos Skaldron's 14-year-old son. During the funeral, B2 Emo displays a recording of Marva, who rallies the populace to fight the Empire, creating a riot in the main quarter. During the confusion, Cassian rescues Bix, while Sarah Karn saves Miro from being attacked, shipping there. Meeting with B2 Emo, Brasso, and several others in the shipyard, Cassian convinces them to take Bix somewhere safe from Ferrix. Moved by the rebellion of Ferrix, Luthen returns to his ship while Cassian is waiting. Knowing that Luthen is there to assassinate him, Cassian offers Luthen the choice to either kill him or take him in, to which Luthen smiles. And then the post-credit scene, droids assemble the machinery produced by the Narkian 5 prisoners and the firing dish of, shockingly, the Death Star.
That's no moon. It's a space station.
So an after-credit scene in Star Wars.
Death Star.
Yeah. So, and that's a very, very powerful episode. And
he helped build the thing that killed him.
Yeah. So, and I know I was the one that was like, oh, they're just kind of building nothing. Just because building the Death Star was relatively obvious. Like, it's like, well, yeah, they're obviously building.
I think I actually pointed at the screen and said, Ryan is wrong.
Yeah. But, I wanted to do something weird, but it's like building the Death Star. I'm like, well, it's obvious what they're building.
Yeah.
And I've seen people say the focusing lens, and I was like, it makes perfect sense, but I just want to do something wild here. So, Death Star, easily predicted by lots of people, but it makes sense. I mean, like you said, it's free labor. You're going to build the biggest battleship in history. You might as well do it like that. So, but yeah, it's a surprise there's a after credit scene in Star Wars. So it's not something they do.
I wish that in this episode they would have shown. It seemed like from the last one, Mon Mothma's position on her daughter getting introduced. Like they never showed her agreeing to it, like with the guy. They just basically showed her meeting the boy.
Yeah, this episode is really set up just for the directly next episode type of thing, like to continue on almost like nothing. Again, they might do a year jump because the next season is a gap of 4 years, so they might jump ahead a year. And, the daughter be off doing something else. So I have no idea.
To the internet's point, and like you say, this episode just shows her introducing her to him. But for those of us that were watching Mon or whatever, I think if Mon went to her daughter and said, I want you to meet this boy, she'd be like, no, I don't want to. So that's where I kind of took it that the daughter was agreeable to it because it's the Chandrilan ways and going against her mom. And her mom not wanting that to happen, but okay with her daughter's actions this time because she needs it to happen because Davos Skaldron wants that meeting in order to bail her out. So it's just one of those things. It didn't need much more exposition, but how some people are interpreting what transpired off camera, if you will, versus others is an interesting take on that situation of did Mon do that to her daughter, or did her daughter agree to it? I guess
she had the husband.
Mon had to set up the meeting, or otherwise say, yeah, let this boy come over. So she had to know about it. Yeah, I don't know. That's
I'm not quite sure how the setup happened.
How that wants to work out.
So we have to touch on Marva's speech. That was. They gave her 4 minutes just to say what she wanted to say, and that's the good thing about these type of shows, about streaming shows. They're not gonna give a 4-minute speech to somebody in Star Wars where they like rally the crew type of thing. It's just gonna be,
Yeah, they didn't even do that with Jen on Rogue One.
Did she talk for 4 minutes, or was it her speech was from beginning to end intercut with stuff that it took up 4 minutes of showtime?
No, I watched the clip this morning before we started recording, and it was a 4 minute and 14-second clip of just her.
Wow.
All on screen, only her. Just maybe panning between other people, no cutaways. It was just her speech. But yeah, like Jin's had a speech here and there, where a lot of things, but that was like maybe 2 minutes. This was 4 minutes of like my story. I regret everything that I've done, and if I had another chance, then I'd fight. And then it was like, fight the Empire, and then it just blows up. And that, again, I've always wanted from this show is that the rise up and the rise up of the rebellion while the Empire squeezes more and more, and you have this amazing scene of all these colorfully dressed citizens, and then against this facing this garrison of troops, and then this huge image of Marva there just telling everyone to fight, and then her friend smacks him with her brick.
Which
I was
the
like,
poetry
yes.
of that.
Yeah,
she
that was
still got
great.
to fight and throw some blows.
You were
That was
bricked.
a brick.
Yeah, bricked. So just a beautiful scene, beautiful writing from front to back, beautiful acting. That's what's so powerful about this. It's just the real feeling that you get from fighting against an oppressive government, and it's great. So it's a great speech, I think, by Marva.
Poor B2 emo. That was so sad.
He got flipped over, and everyone's like, "No, you don't touch B2." And then that's when everything broke out, and they kicked him in the chest.
Yeah, this is Sparta type of launching off point. The beauty of episode 11 was the culmination aspect of it. That we watched this series for the previous 10 episodes, obviously. All these sort of disparate storylines, threads, and everything all come and culminate there on Ferrix at that point. Andor's there, Deidre's there, Luthen's there. Everything is there. Like I said, it's just a testament to the beautiful writing and the storytelling aspect of what they did here to sort of tell Andor's story, but to tie it into the birth of the rebellion, or how the rebellion, like I said, how people were fighting against this empire as it squeezes more and more. People are getting frustrated more and more to the point where they do fight and push back against it. That there was the intrigue. The one character tries to sell out Andor, tries to find out. It was the guy that I think shook down Andor in the very first episode, like, where's my money, and had the muscle behind him, and Andor's like, what are you working for him now? That character was the one that ends up finding out he's coming to town or whatever, and takes it to the Empire, and I think he ends up getting doesn't he get killed or something? They use him for his info and move on, that type of sacrifice, that type of character story. But the culmination aspect of episode 11 was so well done. All the threads, Mon's, Mon
building the
Mothma's,
tension and all that stuff.
Yeah, that tension, just so beautifully well done, to the point of, you had that line of either kill me or take me in. That was a great way for that character to get back into the fold and to be seen as valuable, to be seen as useful, and started out having to get rid of him because he was a liability and an asset, and realizing that no, he is the reason why he went after him in the first place, because he was very resourceful, useful, and valuable to the cause, if you will.
Yeah, you had that guy turning on Cassian and going to the Emperor. Then you had him show up to, I think it was a restaurant or something. I don't know what it was, but that kitchen. Then he goes in there and meets that other guy, and he totally thought that guy was gonna flip on him too, but he's like, no, go this way. He had a lot of people helping him, which was cool, because it just showed that even though he did all this other weird stuff and people kind of didn't respect him, they still liked him, and he still had friends and connections there, which was and it might have been because his mom, but it was just good to see that he was likable. He was liked by the people there, and that's why they wanted to help, and that's why they kind of got rallied together. But I want to know more about the Daughters of Ferrix thing. Was there how long were they there, and was there another rebellion they fought, or it's kind of I think there's a lot of history to go back on that.
Maybe it's the Red Hat Society.
Yeah.
They just help a bunch
Yeah,
of people.
I didn't take him as a group that fought rebellions or fought against. It was just you're right. It was like that. It was like a Red Hat Society. It was just those that kept the history or kept things alive, just kept things going.
Charity work. Yeah. Respectable members of the public.
And
it seems like a charitable organization, almost like a sewing circle or something.
This is the episode Mon plays her driver, so to speak, right? Doesn't she accuse isn't this is the one that has the speech about your gambling that she sets up where her money problems are because she right, she thinks her driver is a spy, and they have a conversation or something or whatever, so that he takes that back. Not that she knows he's going to, but if he's truly a spy, she lays the groundwork. Again, it just speaks to the beauty of this character and how well written she is. She's got the sense to do this sort of thing, have this sort of conversation, to accuse her husband of the gambling or whatever, and that's where the money's going, so that the driver then takes that back, and they don't look into it as much, or the money that comes in. There's an explanation for it, so to speak, if you will, if that guy's truly. We all know we end up knowing he's a spy, right? But she suspects it. I don't think she knows it, right?
Well, they said it in the first 2 episodes where it's like the Empire's watching every move that I make. She just assumes that he reports back.
She just assumes, right?
She just assumes, but she's actually correct in that. And what's even funnier about that is that the more the more that what's his face, Perrin, tries to deny it, the more it's going to seem like it's actually happening. That's the actual explanation for where this money is going.
See, and I was wondering if that was actually a thing, though. Did he actually have gambling debts, and he knew he was in trouble? I don't know.
No, because this is the one that has the line where he's like, her husband says, clearly someone's lying to you, and she's like, yeah, on that we can agree, because he's truly trying to be truthful in terms of saying, I haven't been gambling. He's honestly saying someone's lying to you about these gambling debts. But to Marie's point, that the more he's pushing back against it and saying, no, I didn't do it. It's really sort of solidifying it in the driver's mind, in the driver's ear, that she's really calling him out, that there's really some strife about this gambling thing, because he's adamant about it. Wasn't me. No, somebody's lying to you. I didn't do it. Wasn't there. Nobody saw me do it. Can't prove anything. And she's like, no, somebody's lying to me. All right. On that, we can agree, type of line that, to Marie's point, that it really sort of solidifies that in there. Again, it speaks to the great story and the beautiful writing of Andor that
it's a
we've seen all
misdirect
season.
As far as that's concerned, to the as far as the Empire is concerned, is what I'm trying to say, because that way, the more he fights against it, the more the Imperial the agents that are looking at this are going, oh yeah, he's the cause of that, and they might not look any further into it. But although that kind of, I don't know, Dedra's kind of a smart cookie. She might piece things
Does
together.
it get to her? That guy did. So. Yeah, that guy did.
I don't know, because he's an Imperial agent, so I don't know if he's working with the ISB or whoever he's working with. But I would assume that he's working with ISB. He's a plant.
It's a meme picture. It's from Sunny in Philadelphia. It's where he's acting all crazy, and there's the string board behind him with all these threads and connections, and this point and that point, all this crazy theory. Is there any thread between Mon Mothma and Dedra Meero? Right, Dedra doesn't have any thoughts and knowledge about or Mon. Concerns about Mon, right? That's a different area, a different level. At this point, right? At this point, there's no
threat. But if Imperials are watching her, you can assume that it's ISB that's got an eye on her.
Yeah. Well, she totally fell apart too, the way what's his name, Cyril did in the first episode, like getting her boots on the ground.
Oh, during the battle, yeah, she got whooped.
Yeah, she was just like overwhelmed, didn't know what she was like, over her head with that whole thing. Which it was really cliche that he came and picked her up, and then they had their little. Oh. I was like, why?
This is like the ship that you love to hate and you want to see it sink.
Oh yeah,
she would have been a little stronger and had some stuff more. I don't know. It was just kind of like
to hold her own. She got like one brick to the face and she was down and then got blown up. I was like, dang, man. Cyril swoops in and lovingly embraces her and they're like all close. And I was like, kiss!
Hair blowing in the wind and on the horse.
Yeah. Pulling each other's hair. Like, yeah, it's crazy.
It was a bit awkward. Not awkward. It was awkward, but it was also a bit off for the series. For everything else that we've seen in all of this, for her to be so weak in that moment, frail,
Humbled.
scared in that moment, let's say, for her to have that being shown on her face, and then for him to find in that crowd, in that sea of people and melee that's going on, in the mosh pit of craziness that was happening there at Rick's Road, and he is able to find her, scoop her up, grab a weapon, and rescue her out of there was very.
He was
it
also
just different.
only watching her the whole time. Remember, he was
That's true.
We'll
Her
have to figure
and-
out how. We'll have to see how this plays out, because I'm looking at it going, oh, if it's me, I'm going, oh God, he stalked me all this way.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be a relationship, but yeah, I think they'll be closer now, type of thing. Willing to work with him, maybe.
Do you think they're both still gonna stay on the Empire side, or you think she's gonna switch?
I don't know about that. She seems a little bit too hardcore. I think Cyril is the easier one to.
But they might throw her away. The way they threw him away, because
Yeah, it's true.
She wasn't supposed to even be there, and then all
Yeah,
this madness happened.
And then she botched the whole thing because
Yeah.
The whole point of them is to keep things quiet and keep things on the low, and she didn't do that. She kind of failed to do that.
Having them join the rebellion though would seem kind of it seemed weird to me. Having them kind of turn good just because I agree with you, Marie, that it's like they're definitely gonna be mad that this failed. She might get punished or something, but then to be like, well, I'm joining the rebellion. It's
Well,
like
they might both go rogue and hunt Luthen, so
yeah, I'd be fine with that, long as they're still like the villains of the show type of thing. It's even if they go rogue and they're not involved with it and they get involved in something else,
they
that's
still
fine.
want their revenge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't mind having a heel face turn, but make it number one, make it believable, and number two, don't do it with Dedra. Just don't.
Oh yeah, I don't want them to be faces. No, yeah, keep them bad, even if they're even if they're not in the Empire. Maybe
Season 2 is gonna start off with them like sitting down, and he has a bowl of cereal, and he gives her an extra spoon.
That's love.
Oh God.
At one point in time, I had a theory about Cyril being able to go to the rebellion because he was so mad at how they treated him. I don't remember what it was now, but now at this point, he's so far in the way he's. How did Cyril? Oh, a friend. No, the captain called him at home and told him that the mom had died. To say, how did Cyril end up there? But yeah, somebody called him.
Yeah.
They
The
did
guy
all their
that was
special TV.
loyal, the guy that was loyal to him called him from somewhere to let him know he died. So yeah, he ends up there. Just happens upon seeing Deirdre and watching the whole thing to transpire. Yeah, that I think he's Cyril's too by the rules and wanting justice to take place for the two people that were murdered by Andor. That
guy stays there, right? At the end, they kind of show him just still sitting there, and everything's done, and he's kind of just like,
boss.
Linus?
He was looking at like a
no, he
shop.
wasn't his boss. He was his boss. That was his.
No, the guy that called Cyril, that was like his old boss when he was in the military thing. Or
No, he was his commander.
He was like the guy that led the troops when it was
he's
time
like, yes,
to
sir.
go to.
Yeah.
He was. That was a great speech, sir. He was like a sergeant that commanded the troops. He was that guy. Did he end up going with him to Ferrix? Those two were on Ferrix?
Yeah, he was sitting there at the end, like
there with him.
Yeah, after everything was all blown up around him, he just kind of sitting there against the wall, looking around, like.
Well, again, they fail. Another failure of the Empire of their side, if you will.
Yeah.
They're not truly on that side, but that they see the rebellious type people won again, fought up and won again.
Yeah.
And we got to see the return of the timekeeper, the big hammer.
Big hammer
He's one
dude.
of my favorite guys, actually.
Oh man, when they were gonna attack that guy, I was like, no.
Yeah, right. That was a bit of a moment. I do remember that. Ricky was like, "Yeah, go take that guy out." It's like, oh man, that's not going to go over well.
No, don't do that. No.
And didn't that guy give the 300 kick to the chest?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Timekeeper doesn't
Yeah.
Timekeeper give the stormtrooper? Yeah. This is for Marva, and kicks him in the chest. I'm so glad they didn't take him out. I'm so glad that he was like, oh hell no, and
he rung that guy's bell.
Can't wait for that cosplay.
Oh, yeah. They might not let you in with a giant hammer into a celebration.
Well, it could be fun with it, but if you're gonna cosplay, you got to walk around with like the SNL skit. You've got to have that big
The big
stone in front of you. You know that has to walk around with you in front of you. You can't just be the guy dressed with holding two hammers. I'm not gonna know who you are. But if you walk around and have some sort of apparatus that has that big giant stone walk around in front of you so that you can hammer on it, yeah, that's the cosplay right there.
It's the time. It's the time for a person who plays the xylophone to shine. The xylophone with two big hammers. My time to shine. So, but yeah, I think that's episode 12. Like I said, it cut off. I was kind of surprised to see a lot of people like, here's what I really wish they'd make a season 2, and it's like, no, that this was always planned to be a 2-season thing. They didn't make this cliffhangers hoping to get a second season. So this definitely feels like one long story, because it didn't really feel like a end season type of ending with cliffhangers. I'm watching a lot of Lost right now, so those are crazy cliffhangers. This just seemed like a regular episode cliffhanger. So
I'm thinking season 2 is going to have a lot of flash forwards and flash sideways. And
I'd love to see.
There's some huge. Sorry, Stephen. Go ahead.
I was going to say I'd love to see them at some point put these together, join some of the episodes ahead, and make them into 3 episode arcs, or join the whole thing together into one big feature length episode. Because for me, that you've got 6 or 7 minutes of credits at the end of each episode. Got that long opening credit thing. I think for a rewatch, it'd be a whole lot easier. You can just flick straight on to the next episode. But I
you
think
can just skip the intro.
I think it would be nice if they just joined some of them together a bit. But I don't think that will happen. They'd probably be on YouTube already. But
I hope season 2 goes back to explore his sister and all that stuff, because that just seemed like it was a loose end.
Oh, that's not happening.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Season 2, they've already talked about how it's going to jump around. That it's not going to be as linear as season 1 was. It's going to, like, season 1 was 11 episodes over the span of 1 year, and season 2 is going to be 11 episodes over the span of the next 4 years, or 12 episodes over the next 4 years. That Ryan had talked about how the season didn't really necessarily end in a cliffhanger. I think that's the beauty of them committing to early on to you have that it's going to be 2 seasons. That the director, that they had a story to tell, and he said, well, I want to tell it this way in season 1, 12 episodes over the course of 1 year, and then in season 2 we'll use 12 episodes over the course of 4 years and lead up to that point. That they knew from where they were going, instead of having to build a season. Oh, are we going to get renewed for another season? Oh, yay, now we can have these, what do they call them? Filler episodes, and then ones that actually count towards the big, giant, overarching story. While I like that, because then we get 22 episodes of whatever we're watching, there's also this aspect of it. It's nicely wrapped up. It can be written to that, filmed to that mindset, and you don't have to cut anything. You can have a 4.5 minute speech. It really helps the storytelling that they're going for to be so fleshed out. And season 1 kind of ends and doesn't have a cliffhanger. It doesn't have to have a cliffhanger. I want season 2 because I want more story, not to know how the cliffhanger ends. We know where this ultimately ends up. So just looking forward to whenever season 2 drops, because I know we get more fantastic story.
Yeah. So
this is the episode with a band, wasn't it? This was the episode with a very in-universe funeral march. Instruments. Yeah, it was very odd that they tried to make them look different, or I just remember a weird trumpety looking thing that very much looked like a trumpet that
instead of one
had
flute,
doodads on it. Yeah, just okay. Well,
they're Dr. Seuss instruments.
Look at it. What is it? The Jizz Whalers or whatever they are. They play pretty much the oboe. I mean, that's what they're playing in Jabba's Palace. He's just playing an oboe. So
touche. I guess what's more weird about this, or what was more real world, was the marching band aspect. Because in Jabba's Palace they are playing some very sort of, they're not super alien looking instruments in that sense, whatever. But these guys are marching and playing drums to somebody, but that's the best they could do. I don't really fault them for it in any sense. It is what it is. That instruments and a funeral march is a funeral march, even in far, far away, a long, long time ago.
So where would everyone rank Andor amongst the streaming shows so far? So, Book of Boba Fett, Kenobi, Mandalorian, and Andor. So where would this one's fall on everyone's list?
I still put it at the bottom.
Wow.
It's below.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Streaming? What are we talking about? Bad Batch as well in this? And,
No Bad Batch. Just
live action, probably.
streaming shows.
So that's only
So-
we've got two then. Mando and Book of Boba.
Book of Boba Fett, Kenobi, Andor, Mandalorian. How would you put those?
Good grief. I don't like to rate. I thought we had this conversation the other time, so you don't like to rate things.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of rating either, because on what context and story or cinematography. There's so many things to rate it on. And while I just said I don't like to rate, I'm going to give a rating in a sense of I found Andor. My surprise. Let's say this. My surprise at Ricky going, "Oh, I put it at the bottom." Just unequivocally, very quickly going, "Oh, I put it at my bottom." Is just like, wait, what? Wow, why? Because this Andor had so much more impact to the Star Wars story as we know it and love it and have been talking about it for 40 plus years now. That Andor and Kenobi has it too, but it's a little bit more narrowly focused, I guess. Or we knew so much about that it was Kenobi's kind of shoehorning a story that exists because we saw it and it's now part of it, but we weren't questioning a lot of what transpired there for Kenobi while he was, while Luke was growing up. I guess we did wonder about it, but not like Andor really helps to fill in. I don't know that we had questions, but it helps to fill in the backstory.
I mean, we all know the
way
rebellion
more than
still
Mando and
happened.
way more than Book of Boba Fett. Those are just, to me, my take, those are just fanboy diving into stories about characters and making. What does Mando contribute, and what does Book of Boba Fett contribute to the overall Star Wars story?
I mean, it does.
So that's
You're progressing the characters that you want to see. I'm purely from an entertainment standpoint. That's why I put it at the bottom. I think I rank it like Kenobi, Mando, Boba Fett, and then Andor, just from rewatchability. And then aspects of Star Wars in it.
Well,
yeah.
I think it's to me, cinematography, whatever it is, in terms of characters and dialogue and stuff, it's right up there. But it's a bit like Schindler's List. I thought that was one of the best movies I've ever seen. Very emotional, very well acted, fantastic, absolutely fantastic. I'm in a rush to watch it again. No,
I agree.
I haven't seen it again since I've watched it. So, but I can't deny that when I did watch it, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. But if it comes to what am I going to put on and rewatch again anytime soon, it's probably more likely. Actually, it's probably more likely it's going to be Mando and Boba Fett. Actually, I really do need to rewatch them again.
I should say I'm not so raw with Rogue One either. So I think I'm like more of the fantasy kind of.
I have rewatched it several times. Yeah,
Rogue One's probably my third favorite overall Star Wars film. I love Rogue One.
Same here.
But Rogue One, I definitely agree, brings a lot to the Star Wars universe. I mean, Andor, I kind of agree with Ricky. I don't think if we hadn't had Andor, would we have missed out on a lot of background info? No, I don't think we would have. Whereas
all that Mothma stuff.
Not to make the monologue. I'm just talking about what we kind of knew was going on at that time.
It's succeeded in adding information that really we didn't know that we needed, but we're happy to have. The Mon Mothma stuff.
That is true. I think Mando, out of all of them, adds the most to the universe because it's actually continuing on from where we finished off in some respects.
Luke and all that
stuff that we don't know what's going on in that sequel trilogy-ish coming up era in between the OT and the STs. It's actually adding some. We have no idea so much what's going on. So I think in terms of adding to the Star Wars universe, I think Mando does probably the biggest.
Adding
season 2,
so
of course.
It's adding content. I agree, but it's adding content. It's not doing anything to expand.
I think everything happened in Andor was kind of predictable,
story.
Like, you kind of knew where it was going from the beginning. Like, I don't know. I wasn't surprised by anything in Andor. I guess I'm saying, like, I knew that They
We
were
knew
gonna
Mon
try to
Mothma
catch
went
him
through
at
all
the
this
end.
strife and peril and
No, we didn't. We didn't.
and had to deal with so much. Yeah, I don't know that I could so
No,
much
right.
into this, and it speaks to the
Right.
rebellious nature of all these various different planets, as Ryan says, and dealing with the Empire. We knew something had to happen in order for it to build a rebellion, but like Rogue One taught us, it wasn't a well-formed, well-agreed upon rebellion. If it wasn't for Rogue One, those fighters going rogue, they were going to disband and be scattered to the wind of we can't fight this. So
Well, like Rebels, you
I
had
don't know.
them fighting
I will
against
always.
Spawn Rebels too. So like they disagreeing.
Andor got more rewatchability out of me immediately. There was so much to it, so much going on that I ended up watching it. Not back to back, but soon after my first viewing, I had a second viewing to take it all in again. Way more than I did with Book of Boba Fett, and way more than I did with Mando.
I got
Maybe
the same
second.
thing because there was so much to dig into there. I felt like, I mean, yeah, we know what's supposed to happen. We know what to expect, but it's a more of how would I say it? Like maybe laying out the chess pieces as to how we get to the point where we are in Rogue One and Star Wars.
Like to see how it unfolds. It's things
Yeah,
you didn't know.
see how it unfolds.
Because when you look at the originals, you're like, oh, the rebellion rises up and blows up the Empire. It's like, no, there's so many more steps, and Rebels include it. Bad Batches even include it. Yes, and
Right.
just Andor's joining that prequel live action story now. So I firmly put Andor at number 2. I don't think anything's going to beat Mandalorian, just because it really is a video game like show. It's quick, it has cliffhangers, it has crazy action, it has cool characters. So it's
fun.
Andor, it's very powerful, and it's just everything. Just like I'm shocked watching Mon Mothma. I'm glued to the screen with Luthen, Skarsgård. I love seeing the story unfold. Type of
I
thing.
think he was like the best
Yeah.
character on that show, Luthen. Like I want to know more about Luthen.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
I'm
I'm
a big prestige TV, junkie. Must watch certain things. Like I'm not big on Game of Thrones, but there are certain things that are like must watches for me. And this was just quick enough and digestible enough that I could commit to it.
Yeah.
I don't like.
So Ryan,
that go on
you said something.
forever.
You said something there that spoke to why it was tough to rank, because to say how Mandor was video game like and action packed and lots of eye candy, lots of see whatever. Well, it's because it can. It's that director playing with his toys in his toy box and having fun with his character and all. So to me, that's where I have a problem trying to rate them, because they're two different types of stories that Andor can't have all of that type of action. The story that it's trying to tell just doesn't lend itself. It's tough to compare the two when you get to that type of comparison. Cinematography, I think, is a bit unfair because of COVID. COVID sort of hamstrung Kenobi a little bit in what they could do and where they could go, and big scenes with lots of people and all that sort of stuff that Andor didn't seem to have. Yeah, they get an asterisk because of that, if you will, to some extent. It's tough to compare them like that. What I say about any Star Wars list when somebody's like, oh, well, I find every list I find, Solo's always at the bottom. Well, something has to be, if you're going to rate and have a list.
Yeah, exactly.
Something has to be at the list. Some Star Wars movie has to be the one that makes the smallest amount of money compared to all the other ones. So, that's never a fair metric to say, well, look, it was bad because it didn't make as much money as all the others.
Yeah,
that's
being
not
at the bottom.
Money.
Yeah,
I never
being at
said
the bottom. I say being at the bottom doesn't mean that it's rubbish.
Yeah, right. Not when it comes to Star Wars.
Means that it's
No,
just
like when I rank
that's
all the Star Wars stuff, like the one on the bottom is like a bajillion times better than Dune to me, or something like that.
I always start with that
Fighting
caveat.
words to
It's
some
like
people.
just because it's on the bottom doesn't mean it's
Doesn't
bad.
mean I didn't like it. Yeah.
Yeah, we're only doing Star
Right,
Wars.
it's at the bottom of this particular list, but take it as a whole of like all the movies that came out in when did Solo come out? Like 2019 or 2020 or whatever?
After Last Jedi.
Oh, I'll
Last
take
Jedi.
rewatching Andor
2018?
a million times over watching Top Gun again. So watching Maverick.
I enjoyed
Top
Top Gun.
Gun
That was
Maverick
good.
or Top Gun? Because Top
Either
Gun,
one.
Top Gun, those are
Anything with
fighting
Tom
words.
Cruise in.
Both of them are good.
Well,
Well,
yeah,
I guess
Tom Cruise.
we
They're not
can't,
Star
can't get
Wars
too
level.
we can't get too off course. So I guess now we see why we don't rank them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
and that's officially the last time that we
thanks a
try
lot,
to rank
Ryan.
anything, and that's Ron's fault.
Hey,
Ron's got
I
a yellow
will bring
card.
bring it up. I will bring it up at Skeleton Crew and probably with Ahsoka too. So
Ooh, speaking of
I'll probably
Skeleton
bring it
Crew,
up.
there was a thing I was watching on TV. They showed like a commercial for Disney Plus in 2023.
Yes.
They had a clip of Skeleton Crew in there with Jude Law.
they?
Like, yeah, there was like really brief.
They had one image of Jude Law
One
state.
image, yeah.
Hmm.
He like turns and looks at the camera or something. Yeah, I was like, whoa,
So
I
it's
haven't seen that.
confirmed that it's live action. That's
Yes.
about the weekend.
And Jude Law's in it.
Okay, folks, I've got to move the conversation along, or we're never going to get anywhere. Bad Batch. We've had a couple episodes of them out this week, a double episode, which is hardly worth classing as two separate episodes. In fact, it's got the most awkward ending to the first episode, I think, ever. It just seemed to stop. So we'll have we'll try not to spend much more than 10 minutes on this. Otherwise, you guys will be exhausted when it comes to my rather cryptic and difficult, tricky Star Wars quiz. So, just a new what for that. So we had two episodes. The first episode was called Spoils of War, and the second episode was called Ruins of War. I'll see what they did there. And basically, I shall just try to recap as best I can using the old Wikipedia. Not our sponsor, but they are very good at this stuff. But they can sponsor us if they want to. So after a tip-off by a friend of Sid, she sends the Bad Batch to Sereno to steal part of Count Dooku's massive war chest to help finance a future of their own. After some reluctance, Hunter joins in and the team proceed to the planet, where the Empire is already transporting the Count's wealth off-world. It just happened to be doing it at this time and not any earlier, but I won't go into all that. So while trying to secure the valuable cargo, their presence is revealed and a battle ensues, during which Omega, Tech, and Echo are trapped inside a cargo ship preparing for liftoff. Fighting their way off the cargo container, they attempt to use its re-entry thrusters to make a safe escape landing, while Hunter and Wrecker try to lose their pursuers in the bombed-out ruins of the nearby city, which takes us into episode 2, where the cargo container crashes on Sereno's service while trying to make their way back to the Marauder, that being Bad Batch's main ship. Omega, Tech, Echo meet Romar Edel, a local man with a moustache who is hiding in the woods. And while conversing with him, the clones get a first impression of what a free life must be like. Actually, I didn't get that at all when I wrote this. It didn't come up to me when I was watching this. Anyhow, in an unattended moment, Omega sneaks out to recover more funds from the war chest. Echo and Tech go after her, resulting in a clash with the Imperial search parties, whom the three escape with Romar's help. Hunter and Wrecker fight free of their encirclement and reunite with their friends. With the confirmation of Clone Force's 99 survival, Vice Admiral Rampart fears punishment for his failure to eliminate them, and decides to keep this fat secret from Governor Tarkin, which actually means that he doesn't say here he killed Commander, what's he called? Yeah. Wilco. Yeah, so I'd just like to say, rest in peace, Commander Wilco. We hardly knew ye. So there we go, folks. Bad Batch is back, and it's almost like it's never been away. It's the same old fun and frolics. But with the added dimension of a little bit of Clone Wars separatism Dooku kind of element.
They had new paint jobs on their helmets.
Yes, they have all. They've all been to a new costume shop and got everything all.
Well, yeah, more than just their helmet, their whole kit.
Wave 2 toys coming soon.
I just knew as soon as they got on Dooku's planet, like I bet they're going to go. Where will they go? And that building, I bet they go to the throne room because the only bit we're going to recognise, isn't it? Let's face it. So they had to go in there at some point. I was
thinking, I was watching, have we ever seen Sereno? And then they show that throne room. I'm like, oh yeah.
It's good to see Omega like really grown as a character too. Like she's really good at that bow shot now. She was crushing them.
Oh yeah,
little crabs.
It's getting Dungeons and Dragons vibes of that bow thing.
Yeah,
when the Dungeons and Dragons had this thing like that, didn't they?
She's gotten accurate, and she was she doesn't have the spindly arms anymore, or whatever. Because isn't she hanging from a when they're escaping the crabs or whatever, she's hanging from the tow wire or whatever by her hands or something something. I just remember she was just like, wow, okay, she's gotten a heck of a lot stronger, because to hold yourself up on that rope or to dangle above the crabs on that rope or whatever, the arm strength there is it takes a lot to hold on to that, just to hold on to that while you're.
I'd just like to say quickly, Ron, this is a cartoon.
Oh.
I imagine that she's not. Yeah, I know what you mean. I'm just joking. But you see all sorts of daft things in cartoons, don't you? But yes. I was thinking I'll have chaffs on my hands. Well, trying to do all that stuff for real, but yeah.
Trying to hold on to that. Exciting first episode, the opening, just whatever they're heisting, whatever it is they're doing, and these weird crabs. Very sentient crabs, right? They're like aware that the ship is what you want to attack, and that they're stealing whatever it is they're stealing, and that's loot. These are some awesome sentient crab creature aliens, that's for sure.
And they left that a little bit of a mystery too, huh? We don't know what's in the case yet.
Yeah, well, Guffin, right? We just needed to be something that they were doing to put them in peril. It was an exciting opening to an episode, a cartoon, if you will, so to speak. So
how much time do you guys think passed between the end of last season and the premiere in Universe?
Well, I love to get a new kit and not long. I wouldn't say 6 months, maybe.
6 months to a year.
8 months to a year. She doesn't seem. Omega doesn't seem, and she ages normally. They age faster, and they don't look any different.
Do they though? I wonder. Do they age the same?
Some have accelerated aging and some don't, because remember, Boba didn't have accelerated aging.
Well, that's why I don't think Omega. I think Omega is going to be normal. But I thought the clones. Is there anything to Clone Force 99, or does it? So is the accelerated aging just in the early parts? Do we know that it continues throughout the life of that they aged very quickly to get up to speed and be strong and capable, or whatever you want to say. But then does it taper off and then it's a normal?
I don't think it continues throughout their life cycle, because imagine if they did that, it would age them too rapidly, and they would become old and
during the war,
go back to being more like they would lose strength and mental acuity and all that kind of thing, coordination. It would be a problem to.
You'd have a bunch of troopers with glasses.
That's the one thing my nephew asked me about is like
glasses, hip replacements.
My nephew asked me about the Bad Batch. He's like, what happens to the clones? And I'm like, well, that's kind of why we're going to need to watch Bad Batch 2, season 2. Yeah. I think it might have some stories. Like, yeah, well, I really want to know what happens to them. I'm like, well, so do I. But I think that's what we're gonna end up seeing in some way, shape, or form. Yeah.
Send them all to Andor and they get eaten by Ewoks.
They don't age. He was asking, I think that's where that conversation went over Christmas time, about aging or something like that. His dad must have been talking to him about it. I'm like, I don't think they age. They aged up to this point, but then it slows down.
It seems that way.
Then it slows down to like a natural progression of age. Because imagine if they did like age super fast.
Well, that would get rid of them then. That would explain how, if that were the case, to me, that would explain how we had to get to conscripted, because you constantly needed to do new ones, old ones. I don't quite get the whole the material, the cloning material that we have is failing, and we need more in order to the third, fourth generation clones. I guess they're cloning the clone. It's a copy of a copy of a copy, and that's why it's going bad. Why don't they have the original copy to make
maybe it's
copies?
Like a videotape. The more you or like a cassette tape. Like the more copies the more you make copies of copies of copies, the worse the quality is. I don't know, but
because you keep playing
for younger fans out there, cassette tape, you Google it.
I heard a news report cassettes are trying to make a comeback. I can't believe that, but such is it.
Yeah, why would they try to make a comeback? I mean, do you know how easy it is to ruin a cassette? Unless the technology has improved.
Hey, I wouldn't have thought records made a comeback, and look, I see them in the stores all the time.
Yeah, records and cassettes. I'm like, oh my God, is it 1989 again?
Speaking of records seems to be a little bit more mature. I don't know if mature is the right word, but just not as much.
Not as meatheady as he was the first season.
Yeah, not as much Hulk smash. Yeah.
I think it's just. I think you
Did we
just
see Crosshair in this episode?
We
no.
didn't see Crosshair this episode, but we know he's coming, right?
Well, we didn't see it in either one, right? We don't see him in one or two.
No, he's not
So what
in
do we
there.
think about? So what do we think about the clones? Because obviously we get this clone at the end refusing to disobey orders and falsify information, and we know we've got in this season coming up about clones. There's stories. That chap's saying there's lots of stories of more clones revolting and all this kind of stuff. Now this thing's like a different thing to me. Like this is not like the clones questioning what they're doing. This is like a clone saying, "I'm not going to go against my I don't know code of conduct."
Yeah, he wasn't going to falsify a report. He wasn't going to blindly follow command, whereas a conscript might get that there's a value in listening to that guy and falsifying the report, because then you might get moved up in rank, or you might get a better promotion or an assignment, I guess I'm trying to say. Whereas a clone is very, no, I'm not going to falsify a report. There's no telling them to falsify a report. Very by the book.
Whereas Rampart's willing to fail upwards.
That's it. Yep.
That's like the whole thing on like Andor when he wanted to report that stuff, and the guy's like, "No, let's just forget about it." The humans are faulty, and I guess that's pretty much going to lead to the downfall of the Empire, because they replace all these loyal, obedient clones with humans they can be paid off and they can, have their own agendas. So.
Well, we saw that in the Clone Wars, right? We saw various. What was the one guard that took a lightsaber to the back by Asajj? That was corrupted. Sold out Padme or whatever, or sold out Ahsoka or whatever, humans
the
blue
guys
have that have that sort of corruptibility, capability, infallibility aspect to them. But I can't remember how episode 2
ended. Yeah, I couldn't remember either.
I remember episode 2 was dark. I remember I was like, Steve and I were pregame talking about it. I was waiting for the complaints. Everybody carries on about how dark Solo is, and I can't see it. Episode 2 of Bad Batch was very dark. It was very dark in that all of the scenes were at night, I think, or most of them. The majority of that episode was very, very, very dark, and I'm worried if people.
What happened with the Geppetto-looking guy? With the guy, the local.
Oh, right. They are in the container, and it just sort of did lead right into episode 2 that the container's falling, and then episode 2 it's on the ground. But what do they say? They say, I don't think we're done falling yet, because like it lands.
Because they're literally on the edge of a
cliff, and then it falls, it has to fall yet again. I think doesn't it fall 2 times? But anyway, I just remember there was a line of like, I don't think we're done falling yet.
And they were not, because they were on the edge of a literal cliff.
Yeah. Great
like
Indiana Jones sort of homage in terms of Omega, let it go. She's reaching out for the cup. I kind of appreciated that, recognized what that was and what it was going. I don't know if that's what it was going for, but boy howdy, it sure seemed like it. And I couldn't get her motivation at the time, but I'm glad they went to it at the end of the episode to talk, why she was so hell-bent on this treasure or whatever. But yeah, she sort of blaming herself and wants to make sure that they can recoup this treasure so that they can go lead a life that she's not interrupting as she mistakenly overhear what she only overheard half a conversation or part of a conversation or something that makes her think that they didn't give everything up, but they left that they sacrificed a bunch in order to get her off Camino, and have been dealing with her ever since, which thankfully they tell her is not true.
Yeah.
That was one of the reasons why I thought it hadn't been too long since the last season, because you would have thought that would have come up a bit more in conversation and jeopardy by now. I mean, not like a whole year's gone by and she just realised they sacrificed a lot for her and all that kind of stuff. So, but I mean, this was a big heist, of course. I kept thinking to her, just stuff a few of those coins in your pockets. Don't worry about putting them in great big boxes. Just stuff a few down your down your top, down your jeans, down in your pockets and stuff. At least you've got something to go with. But no, it was all about the old classic, put it in something, that falls, and you lose everything, you go with nothing. But I would have just stuffed something down my shoe quickly as a
yeah, right.
bank.
Just grab a little bit of something, shove it in a pocket.
Yeah, exactly. At least be able to buy some beer or something. I don't know.
The animation's beautiful as always. I mean, the Bad Batch Clone Wars, just very well done. Very a level of depth to the animation and to what we see on screen or whatever. That while I know I'm watching an animated series, a cartoon, if you will, Chancellor, that boy howdy, it doesn't look like it at times. It is very, very well done.
Yeah, that beach scene was like that had like Miyazaki vibes to it or something. The art style.
It was gorgeous. Yeah, certainly was.
Absolutely gorgeous. I was like, I know that beach isn't real, but I want to go to it.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Ever have any more last minute thoughts on those 2 episodes?
Well, I'm trying.
Nope. For more?
What was Bad Batch 2? What was episode 2? They see the guy. They rescue the guy. Yeah.
Pretty much felt like one big episode.
Yeah, that's why I'm.
Yeah.
Like, why did they bother really with that break between them? It really wasn't necessary. But yeah. Okay. All right. Well, by the time we're back in a month, we would have another 1, 2, 3, 4 episodes of the Bad Batch.
How many Bad Batches are there total? 16?
Yeah, there's 16 in the series, so it goes all the way until the 29th of March.
So 4, 6 will be a good ways into it.
Mm.
Does it overlap with
Mando
dropping?
I think so.
Yes, Mando's in March, isn't it? Or something's in March, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's Mando.
Yeah, I think March.
Something in March. I remember thinking that we're going to have double the fun at some point.
Not curious. It was that they're still that the Bad Batch are still with the stuns, still with the stun gun aspect of not.
They're still their brothers.
Not wanting to shoot their fellow clones. Wonder if that changes once because at the end of last season we saw them. Right, there was a clone training stormtroopers, if you will, basically. So I wonder if we see that change once they start shooting at stormtroopers proper, if you will. Will they recognize them as enemies versus brothers? Although I guess we got to get to will a Captain Rex that clone face trooper ever wear stormtrooper garb? You know what I'm asking? Will a clone ever be outfitted in traditional A New Hope, whatever series or whatever, however that plays out? You know, what we know as a stormtrooper. Will a clone ever actually be in stormtrooper armor?
I don't see why they would
Bad
not
Batch 2,
just switch the
season
costume.
2, will we see?
That's
what I mean. Will we see how they deal with the clones? They deal with them all to a point where they don't trust them anymore, don't want them anymore. That stormtroopers, whenever we see a true stormtrooper outfitted armor person, we'll know that that's not that'll never be a clone inside of there. It'd be interesting to see how this plays out, because I don't think we've ever. There's no reason for us to think we've seen a clone in stormtrooper armor before, and so it's been all the various iterations of it. As it continues with this, because they're getting closer and closer to a true traditional stormtrooper, A New Hope armor. I don't think they're there yet. But didn't we see? Where did we see? Maybe I'm conflicting it with Rebels, because we've definitely seen stormtroopers. But yeah, that's a different timeline at the point we see Rebels. But we haven't seen stormtroopers in Bad Batch or Clone Wars. That's why I have to keep watching season 2. So we'll do that every Wednesday as it drops. Looking forward to it. It's good entertainment.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yes, absolutely. It's just a shame it's like 25 minutes, but I'm sure we'll get over that. Okay. Right. So I have prepared a quiz, and I'll just say in the chat that it's actually 4 rounds. 10 questions in each round. And I spent hours on this, so please cut me a little bit of slack on this one. But there are. Exactly how quickly they are will depend on how much people debate what I put down as the answer. But it is time for the annual Positively Star Wars Podcast Senate quiz.
Use my knowledge, I beg you.
I will quickly discover the truth of all this.
And if I remember rightly, I think Ricky won last year.
Yeah.
And Marie has subsequently run one of our little quizzes throughout the year. So there's potentially a what do they call it in boxing when they unify? Is that what they call it when they unify the belts and that kind of stuff? So we could unify a new quiz champion out of this. So actually, to give you a bit of insight, there are 4 rounds. We'll see where we go, whether we get to the 4 rounds, and maybe we will cut some out. The first round is all the answers are numbers. Round 2 refers to, as I did last year, if anybody remembers, it all refers to quotes. Round 3 is sort of like a general Q&A kind of one, and round 3 is, well, I won't tell you, but because you'll be doing the research before we get to it.
No researching.
No research before.
Putting everybody on the trust.
We can hear you typing.
So the thing with round 1 is everybody has a chance at guessing the answer because it's all numbers. So that's how we do it. As with the other rounds, we'll be going around the table.
Wait,
hey, do I need
something?
Do I need to like? Do I like to do? Yeah. So we're gonna set some rules. Closest without going over, and then do I need to be able to write stuff down?
I'm going to say I will give you the question. You then all come up with the answer. Then we will go around in order that people have in Skype order and see what you.
Okay, so I do need some scratch. I do need somewhere to scratch.
The closest wins the point. If you get it completely spot on, you get 2 points, and that includes if everybody gets it spot on, you all get 2 points each.
Closest without going over.
He said closest.
I'm not bothered about going over because the questions don't go that way. So you can go over.
Brits and your non-Price is Right rules.
No, it's not Price is Right rules. It's closest. Closest. So somebody will get a point at the end of each question by way of being the closest. If you get so there's 10 questions in this one. Every answer is a number. It's not always an exact number though. Okay. Question 1. What? I remember there will be some debate on some of these answers, but I'm going. What is the answer I've got down? And this answer came from Wikipedia. What is the height of Darth Vader with his armor and suit on?
Okay.
You can give it to me in meters or feet and inches, because I have got them both written down here.
I'm gonna guess we all give it to you in feet and inches.
So have a think. I'll give you 10 seconds to have a little think, and then I will go around and ask for everybody's answer, and then I will tell you what answer I've got written down here.
I'm in.
You may debate it. Has everybody got something? Everybody got some?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Ron.
I had 6, 7.
Okay. So I can't see my Skype order. Ricky.
3 Ewoks tall. I'm say 7 feet.
7 feet. Ryan.
I'm gonna say 6, 8.
Okay. And
George.
Marie.
2.2 meters.
2.2.
Yeah.
What the heck is that?
What is that?
I don't know. That's quite a bit more than I can't. I'm not going to go into that. But okay, I have got it here in meters, and it's well. If this was The Price is Right, we would have a ding 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 sound, which means that somebody's got it spot on. And the answer I have got written down here for Darth Vader, well, Anakin Skywalker, it says was 1.88 meters, which is 6 feet 2 inches, apparently.
Oh yeah.
Before he lost his legs, of course. Well, that was Darth Vader, wasn't it? But his height in armor I have got written down as 6 foot 7 inches, which is 2 meters and 2. So that is
really
2 points exactly to Ron.
See, Ron's been wearing that costume around, so he knows.
Okay.
2 meters and 2, like 2.02.
2.02. 2.02. Yeah. So you would have been right if you added in the 0.
Yeah, I couldn't remember what it was exactly. I was like, I've seen it before in meters. But
I looked at a few different websites, and the height did vary according to what people got the source from, but that's from Wikipedia. Most of my answers are from Wikipedia. Okay. So Ron's got 2 points. Okay. Question 2. What is the total runtime of all the prequel films? So you add up the runtime in minutes, if you can, because I have to convert. My answer is in minutes. You add up the runtime of all the 3 prequel films. How many minutes does it come to? And this is according to IMDb.
Man, I used to have all of them in order, and I actually just saw a sheet of paper where I had all 6 movies.
So in minutes,
In
all
minutes,
3
in minutes if
prequels.
possible. Otherwise, I've got to start converting things. So my answer is in minutes.
I'm in.
Oh god, I don't know.
I'm
if that's
sure I'm ready.
mixed, though.
I got it.
It's just about a guess for me, so I don't care. I'm good.
Okay. Everybody got an answer?
Yep.
Okay. Ron, what's your answer?
384.
Okay. Ricky?
340 minutes.
340. So I'm generally writing down as I'm going along here. Okay. Ryan?
I'll say 352.
352. Okay. Marie?
I'm gonna say somewhere in the neighborhood of 460 minutes, maybe.
460 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah.
So Ron,
They're all
did you say,
2 hours.
did you say
I'm surprised.
Did you say 384, Ron?
Yes.
Yes. I don't. I've got to try and work this out. I wish I had the calculator. I think one is the closest. The answer is 422.
Really?
Yeah.
I was surprised you guys went less than 2 hours per movie.
I went 2
it
hours.
has to be more than-
No, that's what I mean. Ryan and Ricky went less than 360, which is 2 hours per movie. Each movie's 2 hours, and I didn't think my 384 was long enough. I thought your 460, Marie, was way high. But would you say 420? So that's
420.
Yeah.
Now, see who's actually closest. I can't do it in my head. Somebody else.
Yeah, I did 120, 110, and 110.
Yeah,
I think.
like it has to be somewhere in the neighborhood of 7-8 hours.
Ron's 38 out, and Marie is.
Like nowadays, movies are 3 hours. Back in the day, I was like, oh, they vary about an hour and a half, 2 hours.
I thought
Go 2
episode
hours.
3 is only 3 hour one or 2 hour one.
Oh, they're both the same. So it's a draw. So Ron and Marie get 1 point each because 460 is exactly 38 too much, and 384 is 38 minutes too less.
I just want to point out,
It's a point
Price is Right rules.
Free.
Not saying anything, just saying.
Sorry? Yeah, we're not doing prices right.
I'm going on that I get the points. In my head,
already
I
got
got
points,
it
right?
because she went over. So
You're still winning.
You're still winning. I'm not doing prices right. No, I've written it down that it was the closest. And I didn't
I'm sure
take-
Ron's getting his
Right.
answers from that marionette he has.
Okay. Okay. Question 3. In Andor, the Eye, Lieutenant Gorn reports that the Empire's policy has reduced the number of pilgrims over the years from 15,000 to how many?
the number of what?
Pilgrims.
The people.
The people come in to do through the Eye event. He says
Yeah,
it reduced it from 15,000 to how many?
Mr. Multiple Watch, this should be easy for you.
Yeah.
Does he say an exact number? Oh,
He does.
man.
Yeah.
I'm
I
in.
don't remember the number, but I remember them saying a number, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
I'm in.
Okay. Everybody got a number?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Ron, what is your number?
170.
170. Ricky?
36.
36. Ryan?
Making me uncertain. I'll go 300.
300.
Well, that's not a good choice.
Marie?
200.
200. Well, thankfully, I don't have to get a calculator out because it's quite easy for me to work out who's the closest in this one. Because the answer was 60.
Yep.
Oh.
So Ricky gets 1 point on that one.
See, I thought there was way more than that. Like, that's what he was talking about. Where there was 1,500, now they whittled it down. But then by the time they go through all the, bars and stuff like that, then it's maybe 60. So
Yeah, that was the.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, that gets an asterisk. Because, right, they start out with a number that's higher, but, right, they set up all these waypoints and all these bars, like you said, and till the people actually make the pilgrimage and show up, it's that small number.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was the question.
I won't argue though.
No, what was the question?
That was the question.
So
Not how many showed up at the eye, it's how many pilgrims did he whittle it down to. What's the question again, Chancellor?
Well, we've done it now. We've done it. How many? What?
All right.
How many?
Go back
how many,
and listen to it. Next question.
No, question 4. Still in Andor. In the episode Narkina 5. Was it Narkina 5? Yep. How many days left on his sentence did Kino Loy have left?
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh my gosh.
I'm in.
Oh.
Multiple watch Ron should be
Yeah, Ian.
entered on this one.
I hate baseball because I'm not a stat boy. So yeah, this is not my forte at all. I'm only in because I'm going with what's letting the force guide me, and I have a number that popped into my head that I think is what it is. So that's why I'm in.
Yep.
Okay. Ready? Right. Okay. What's your answer, Ron?
187.
187. Ricky?
72.
72. Ryan?
136.
136. Marie?
Is it 182?
It's not, but that's just answering your question.
Okay.
Then Marie, that's beautiful. Is it 182? It's not. Well, then my guess is going to be 185.
Exactly. In fact, the answer is 249.
Hey.
Which makes Ron the closest.
Woo!
Yeah.
This turning into a runaway.
I know,
Well,
really.
don't worry, there's
4
plenty
rounds.
more to come yet.
Yeah.
Okay. Still in Andor. In question 5, we see Marva Andor's funeral was held on her hometown in the free trade sector planet Ferrix. How old was she when she died?
Very.
Okay.
It's on the brick.
This is a good quiz, Steven. It's a good quiz.
I had to tell you, it took 3 hours to write this all out.
I'm in.
I had to think what was the number that was imprinted on that guy's head after he got hit with it.
How old? Because she's not here. Yeah, she's not here, so you don't have to be worried about guessing a woman's age by just thinking how old does she look. Okay, Ron, what's your answer?
74.
Ricky.
72 again.
Ryan.
I'm going to say 82.
82. I'm sure she'll thank you for that. And Marie.
67.
67. She would love you for that one. Okay, and the correct answer is. If I knew bingo, I could do it, but I don't. The answer is 77. So
I'm 5. So
I'm
Ricky got it.
afraid to say that is actually 5, 6, 7. It's Ricky again. That's wrong.
Oh, me.
So it's wrong.
What do you mean you're afraid to say? Wait a minute.
Rewatch
Yeah, 'cause
Ron.
he said
It's got
74, right?
Got it again.
I really wanted to say 75, but I hate that move of just doing one of those.
I was going to do 73.
Well,
but-
Say
the other Ryan appreciates the Price is Right. I can tell. The other part of it too is he keeps going in the same order, and we need to vary that up at some point.
Yeah.
Alright, maybe in the next round I'll start from a different person.
Yeah. Okay. I'm having fun with you, Steven. Next question. This is great.
Question 6.
Yeah,
We're
it's
going
great
away
you're
from
winning.
Andor. We're going away from Andor now. In Shadow of the Sith, we learn more about Rey. Don't worry, Marie. This is
I'm
guessing.
out.
In Shadow of the Sith, we learn more about Rey's parents. But how old was Dathan, Rey's father, when Rey was born?
Say that again?
How old was Dathan, Rey's father, when Rey was born?
Oh, goodness. I did read this one.
Oh, he did, so I couldn't remember.
I did.
So that doesn't help you, though, because I don't think it's mentioned in the book. But you could kind of work, there are dates given in places, so you can kind of work out roughly how old he would have been. I had to calculate this 2 or 3 times to make sure I got it the right way around.
I'm in.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I really hope I've got this right. So I got right. You can calculate it with me afterwards to make sure we got this right. Okay, Ron.
23.
Ricky.
35.
35. Yep. Ryan.
Was that the answer? You just said
No. It's not. I didn't say that.
Okay.
No.
28. Born, right? This was when she was born.
Yes.
Okay. 28.
Marie.
23.
23. Gone the same as Ron.
Yeah, sorry, I had to go the same as
So
Ron.
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because you could both be been right. But as it happens, you're not. The answer is 27.
Oh, really?
So
Okay.
that makes Ryan closest. So I did look on Wikipedia, and he was born in 12 BBY, and he was, and when Ray was born in 15 ABY.
So you were born 15 BBY.
So that makes
made him a
that makes him 27 when Ray was born. So
All right.
Excellent. Rock
On
on.
board, baby.
So everybody's got a point so far. Okay. Speaking of ages, actually I've been quite consistent here. In Return of the Jedi, question 7, we see Palpatine's first death, in quotes. But how old was he when he was chucked off that balcony and fell to his not so death?
In Return of the Jedi?
In Return of the Jedi, how old's Palps?
Yeah, how old is Palps?
I'm in.
Are we ready?
Yep.
Let's go down that line again. Ron.
84.
Ricky?
75.
75. So you reckon he looked better than Reva? Okay. Ryan?
81.
81. Marie?
150.
150? Okay. He really gone for it there. And mind you, to be fair, he did look 150. Okay. The actual answer is two fat ladies, though that's not politically correct anymore. So apologies. 88. Palpatine was. And there might be a difference between legends and canon, but according to Wikipedia now, he was 84. 88.
84?
88, I mean. So I'm just circling Ron's answer at the same time as I said that. Okay.
And you didn't go 85, Ryan?
Yeah, I did it.
Okay, question 8. No more ages, you'd be glad to know. Quite simply, how long is the Millennium Falcon's length? I can take it in meters or feet. What is the Millennium Falcon's length?
I'm in.
Sure, I guess. This is going to be terrible.
I'm rubbish at guessing lengths of anything, but okay. Everybody ready? Let's go down that line. Ron.
177 meters.
177 meters. I've got to write down the unit, am I? Okay. Oh gosh, it's going to be confusing me. Okay, Ricky.
A mile?
A mile.
It's not that big of a ship.
1 mile. I can never go this out. I'll just write that.
Lando's coat closet.
I can literally say, right, Ricky, you're miles out. Brian.
111 feet.
111 feet. And Marie.
I don't know. I'm going to go with about 300 feet.
300 feet. You guys are giving me a right old nightmare with different units and stuff. But it's quite easy to know who's won that one because one is almost a couple of feet off it. The actual length is 113 feet, or 34.75 meters.
Oh, it is
So that's
a really
a point for Ryan.
All right. I didn't think it was that big. Like, that's a lot of meters.
Is that with the escape pod in the front?
Well, it doesn't actually change it, does it? 'Cause that's just a bit of yeah. Okay.
He's got his foot sticking out the window.
It's a relatively ship, really.
It's quite small,
You
really.
think how much they run across it.
How many feet was it?
113.
Only 113.
I should have done. I did meters instead of feet. Curses.
I should have done the sail barge. Do that next year. Question 9. So, in A New Hope, with the Death Star approaching, Y-Wings from Gold Squadron, X-Wings from Red Squadron, and other stuff from Green Squadron were dispatched to carry out the attack plan. But what was the total number of ships deployed?
Everyone all right?
Who's that? Somebody had a fit of that question.
Say the question. I'm sorry. Say it again.
So, this is from A New Hope. How many Rebel ships were dispatched to perform the attack plan on the Death Star? So you've got Y-Wings and X-Wings.
Yeah. Versus how many come home? Because that's usually the question. How many?
No, not on this one. What total number of ships, Y-Wings and X-Wings? If it's in the original A New Hope, probably would have thought it's like 2. But in the special edition, you might have thought there's a few more.
So at least 5. You've got red 5 standing.
I'll tell you all before, and it's not a huge amount. We're not going into 3 figures here. Okay, let's go down that line. Ron?
Yeah, I'm still doing some math. 66.
He's Googling.
No, I'm doing some math.
Ricky?
12.
12. Okay. Ryan?
15.
15. Marie?
20.
20. Okay. Right. Well, I can tell you that there were 8 Y-Wings from Gold Squadron, as well as 22 X-Wings, and 12 also from Red Squadron, and the rest were from Green Squadron. So actually, I don't know. Actually, it doesn't make any sense, actually.
What are they doing?
No, it actually doesn't make any sense. No, so I've read it to you wrong. It was 8 Y-Wings and 22 X-Wings, basically. So it was a total of 30 ships, which means that Marie is the closest and gets a point. Right.
30 ships attack the Death Star, and that's it? Wow.
That's a small group.
I thought that was a lot. I thought there was only like a dozen.
Me too. I thought there's only like...
No,
that is more than I thought as well, to be fair.
That special edition scene, and maybe that's why it's 30, because that special edition scene where they lock X-Foils in attack position, where they filled it in with a lot more. There's a lot, or there's definitely more in there, but I assume that was just an establishing shot of the first round, not all of them.
Were they fighting TIE Fighter? What were they doing? Because there was only like 2-3 ships that went through the trench run. What were the other ones doing?
Well, we see 3 get blown up and stay in position and get set for your attack run. We see Vader take out the first 3 guys, right? Those are one Y-Wing and 2 X's, and then...
Yeah, I think that's a decent number. I knew it was something low, so I think I would just go on.
Maybe rewatch A New Hope in a different light, that there's only 30. Not that I thought there was 300 or any great number, a huge number, but
if your next question is like how many were in Rise of Skywalker at the end.
No, I'm not. But
the fun question is how many come home.
I can tell you the answer to the next question is bigger than the answer to that question. And this is a bit of a fun one. I have no idea how you're ever going to guess it, but this is a guessing game. Question 10. What is the population of Ewoks on Andor said to be at least over? An amount that it's at least over X amount of Ewoks on Andor. I presume that's at the time of Return of the Jedi.
I'm trying to name all the ones in the show.
I'm in.
I can tell you now, it's a big number. Because we're talking population here.
Just Ewoks, right? Not the other
just
creatures.
All right, sure. Let's give it a shot.
Ewoks.
Ewoks. Okay, down the line. Ron.
300.
300. I said it's a big number, Ron. Okay. It really is a big number. Ricky?
1,000.
1,000. Ryan?
I'm gonna say 100,000.
100K.
A lot of Ewoks.
Marie?
1 million.
1 million. Well,
So we clearly, before you answer, we
Yep.
clearly have no clue, given the four disparate numbers, even though we were giving it's a big number hint, we clearly have no clue,
So
none of us.
I'm assuming that they're counting.
You wouldn't think it was more than a couple hundred, to be fair.
I'm
That's
assuming they're counting
I don't know,
Dulocs
because
as Ewoks too.
It's an entire planet. Like, let's remember that too. I want it to go really high.
It is
Planet or
really
moon?
high. I can tell you the closest is Marie,
Yeah.
and it is said to be over. Let me get this right: 30 million Ewoks
Really?
and Andor,
They may produce like rabbits. We don't know.
like cuddly bears.
30 million isn't a lot. Like,
For a small
That's-
moon?
it's still a moon. There's like that many people in California, man. Like,
Oh.
there's like, yeah, California and Texas. There's like, I think California alone is 30 million people.
They got those big
I
giant
don't know,
creatures
that's-
that eat the Ewoks.
They,
Fireflies.
30 million get along? That seems...
There's, I think there's avenue for more Ewok programs. So we work at different tribes. We have all that dynamic of different tribes of Ewoks and stuff. It's like the Mandalorians, but with Ewoks one day, I think. So at the end of round 1, Ron has 7 points, Ricky has 1 point, Ryan has 2 points, and Marie has 3 points.
All right.
I like to say that there's all to play for in the next round, but there are points to play for. And it's round 2 is called Where Do These Quotes Come From? Now, you remember last year, people who listened, I did do quotes and guessing where they come from. And am I going to repeat the same order? Or do you want me to change the order of people giving answers? Or does nobody really care?
Eh.
I don't think it makes any difference, really, does. Nobody's comparing, nobody's complaining.
That has a potential to, but I don't care enough to carry on. So yeah, just do what you need to ask the questions and go down the line.
Okay, so I was going to give. There's actually each question has 2 parts to the answer. So you've got to say who said this quote and what TV or film it came from. So I was going to give 0.5 for the name of the person who said it and 0.5 for the series or film it came from. Actually, that's what I said I was going to do, so that's what I'm going to do. But it might make it harder to try to catch Ron up. So we're going in order. So basically, this is how it's going to work. We're going around the table now. So Ron gets question number 1, then question number 2. If they can't guess it, then somebody else can come in for a bonus. But in order for me to know who sticks their hand up first, you'll need to type in something into the chat, and whoever's name comes up first in the chat is the person who gets to answer that question for a bonus. You know what I mean?
So how do we know if you can't answer it?
Well, I'm going to have a little stop clock here. I'm going to give people. And also I give people to answer the question.
I'm just gonna stick an emoji.
Well, so what's the format of the question going to be again?
I will give you a quote. Okay. You have to tell
give
me
you-
who said it and then what they said it in.
Okay.
And I'm going to give you. I want to give 30 seconds to give an answer.
30
Uh,
seconds.
And
That's a long
then,
time.
if anybody else wants to buzz in, you have to buzz in by putting the number of the question in the chat, and whoever comes up first and that gets to answer it next.
Wait, put the
You just put
question
one.
or just type
put
anything.
one. You just type 1.
Yeah.
Just type 1 into the chat. And that's how I can tell who came first.
You do a happy face.
Okay. Question
two.
number 1 is for Ron. And it is, come on, baby, do the magic hand thing.
Well, I'm in.
Sorry?
I don't need to say I'm in. It's a question for me. It's from Mando, Grief Karga.
Yep, that is correct. So that's 1 point from that one. Who's next on the list? It's Ricky, isn't it? I should have given you the easiest one. Should have given you the harder ones. Ricky, I am not a committee.
That's a hard one. No, it's Leia in A New Hope.
It is Leia, but it's not in New Hope.
Oh, it's in the. Yes, I know.
Anybody else want to put the number of the question, and you can stick something?
You just put a number 2.
Oh, 2.
Can I put mine in there too?
He's done 2, so Marie's done 2. So Marie, to steal half a point.
Oh, you said put something in the text.
I meant she put the number.
Put something in the text.
Marie,
Sorry, Marie. Go again.
It's Leia in Empire Strikes Back.
That is correct.
I knew it as soon as I said it. I was like,
So Ricky's got.
Yes,
Ricky's got
the fun thing about these types of questions, the quote questions, is like, oh, we're gonna know them all, but do we truly, do we question ourselves and know them to that point of like, oh wait, it's the other thing.
Yes.
I'm terrible at quotes, so I'm not gonna get it.
Yeah. So you want to steal, put the number of the question in the chat, and that's who I know.
Now we're on 3.
Next. Jeez, that means I gotta pay attention now too.
So question 3. Quote 3 is for Ryan. Let go of your hate.
There's so many characters I've run through my freaking head. Like, I can't even figure it out anymore. I get so confused. But let's go with, I don't know, Yoda from Empire. I'm terrible at this. I can't remember who says anything. I just watched the movies.
It's a no on both.
That's cool. Great.
So Ricky went first. Go for it, Ricky.
Obi-Wan in Return of the Jedi.
It is Return of the Jedi, but it's not Obi-Wan. Who went in next? Ron.
Luke, Return of the Jedi.
Correct. Correct.
Let go of your hate. I feel it. He's talking to his dad.
Okay. Number 4 for Marie.
It is too late for me, son.
Right.
Right. Marie. Some moof milker put a compressor on the ignition line.
Han Solo in The Force Awakens.
Correct. 1 point for you.
You dorks can't put in 4 until she doesn't get it.
It doesn't matter, but yeah.
Well, then I'm gonna put.
Well, I know the answer though.
I know the answer too, but you can't put in until he asks us to put in.
Yeah, don't come in
So
yes.
anyone listening or whatever,
That's why I asked when to put the
Ryan and Ricky both put in into the chat to be if she doesn't get the right answer. I'm waiting for her 30 seconds to time out.
Yeah, I would say don't put the number in until I say, okay, it's open. We're open the floor, so to speak. Okay.
What Jeopardy rules so it doesn't work until the question.
I just did it again. Just a second.
I'm in that stop.
Quote 5 is for Ron. As my sweet mother always said, son, if 1 hostage is good, 2 are better. And 3, well, that's good business. Doesn't sound like anything in Star Wars, does it? I have to say, but if I said it in the right, as my sweet mother always said, son, if 1 hostage is good, 2 are better, and 3, well, that's good business. If I try to do it with a voice.
Yeah, I don't think it's right. Sid and Bad Batch.
Nope. Open the floor.
That was my guess.
Guessing. Who's that guessing? I just see a number. Don't see who.
I can hear it, but man, I don't. Who dealt with hostages?
Who did that last 5? Was that you, Ricky?
Yeah, that was me.
Okay. Go for it, Ricky.
It's Beckett and Solo.
No.
Are these movies or shows too?
Yeah, it could be anything. It could be any
Mando
series or film.
Star Wars podcast. It could be anything on screen. Star Wars quote.
Anything that's been on. Anything you've watched on TV. It could be a film, or it could be a TV series. It could be a animation.
Dealt with hostages. That's what threw me off when I was like, I don't think it's Sid, but I can hear her saying that. Where did anyone?
What have I said? What have I said? As my sweet mother always said, Kenobi said, son. You know, that kind of thing. Ryan.
I'm just going to say Clone Wars because it's such a big show. I don't know.
Oh, I know who it is.
I'm going to give you half a point. It is the Clone Wars.
I know who it is.
Anybody else want to say? I'm going to come in quickly and guess who said it?
Andor.
Yes.
Ah.
As Ryan's been
Yeah.
watching it, you should
That-
be, you should be the. Okay.
That impression was spot on.
Thank you. Nobody got it. Right, quote six is for Ricky. In my book, experience outranks everything.
Oh.
It's your question, Ricky. It's your
I know.
You don't have to
Oh
guess.
my gosh, really?
Rex and Clone Wars.
Yes.
Winner.
Okay, Ryan's.
Yeah, well, go ahead.
Quote number 7. It's mutual. Trust me. She belongs to me. She belongs with me. Sorry, I'll say it again. It's mutual. Trust me. She belongs with me. I believe that's not easy. I always feel a little bit sorry for you, actually, because that's not easy.
I don't know. I got nothing. I'm gonna say
Guess
Clone Wars again. That's
Sorry?
it. Clone
Not
Wars.
Clone Wars.
I don't know.
Clone Wars. You want to guess a random character? There's a chance that you might just get it right.
No, I got nothing. There's too many characters. Jabba there.
Okay, so I've opened the floor. I kind of think. Well, I'm not sure who's coming in first. I'm going to give Marie a chance to. I think she's just about in the right order because Ricky said 7 before I said open the
I
floor.
said I don't know.
So.
Well, yeah, you put a 7 in the chat.
Well, he said I don't know, and then I put the 7 in.
Right, Marie.
I'm gonna take a crack at this one, but Anakin in Clone Wars.
No.
Okay.
Solo and Solo.
All right, Ron. This Ron has said it. Yeah, it is. It's is Han Solo in Solo.
Oh darn.
Talking about the Falcon.
Mm.
Well, Lando says you got it bad for the Falcon. He's like, trust me, it's mutual.
Oh okay.
Nice.
Okay, so it's Marie next. I'm right, aren't I? It's Marie next. Yes.
Yes.
Quote 8. I just realised that means that somebody actually gets more quotes than the other, but hey, whatever it is. Right, quote number 8. We had each other. That's how we won.
Oh my
I can do it in my impression as well. That helps. You probably won't. We had each other. That's how we won.
That did not.
Don't think that's helped.
I'm gonna take a pass on that one.
Okay. You just have done that. Oh, I can't tell you. I don't get any more clues. Anybody else want to guess him? That one? Is that Ron? I think Ron came in first with 8.
Yeah, I was wrong.
Ron came in first. Yes.
Yeah, go for it, Ron.
It's Lando.
It is Lando. And what's it in? So I'm writing.
They fly now. They fly now.
They fly now. That's not the name of the film. What's the name of the film?
Rise of Skywalker.
Correct. Yeah.
The Rise. No, it's not the. It's just Rise.
Gets me confused. I was thinking that's not a Star Wars film.
No, I had to. Was questioning which movie I think it's from.
Oh, right.
But got to Leia, Carrie Fisher passing away, and they had to use him in that last movie to sort of help tie it in.
Yeah.
And it is the Rise of Skywalker, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's correct.
I just watched that. but I guess
I don't.
I was going to say, you just
Lando's in the. Did we talk about Lando's in the tread? And they asked how you did it or whatever, and they said we had each other.
No, I thought he does it
That's
on.
how we
Says
won.
that on the when he's visiting Leia after she passes. No?
Ooh.
When he's talking to
Okay.
Poe.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was probably
Yeah, it's on the
the
planet. Yep.
Okay.
It's a,
We're moving on. Quote number 9, and it is for Ron, who is.
I mean, if not everyone's getting a question, should you just stop at 8? Because then we had 2 questions each.
I could do.
How many more? How many more do you have? Just 1 or 2?
Just
2 more.
All right. How about we buzz in?
Yeah, let's just buzz in.
No, you
lose
everybody's just going to press the number.
But if you buzz in, and you don't get it right, you lose a point.
No, we don't.
We're going to go down that. Right?
Yeah, because everybody's just going to buzz in and then go, oh, I don't know, it didn't cost me anything. So only buzz in, only put in the chat if you know, or say I'm in or whatever. Let's just if you know what it is, or just skip them all. Use them as bonus points if there's a tie at the end.
Yeah, we'll just skip them. Okay, so at the end of round 2, I'm just trying to tot up. I think Marie had 1.5, Ryan had 0.5, Ricky had 2.5, and Ron had 3.5. I think it's safe to say that Ron is extending his lead. I won't tot it
What's
up.
what's a 0.5? How do I only get half of something?
0.5 is like
Name a movie.
name and series.
Half a point for each part of the question for one total.
Right. And actually, in round 3, which is general knowledge, I have to say some questions actually are probably worth more points than others. That's just going to be the way it works out. But try and think of some way of making it.
Every time Ron gets it right, it's going to be less.
I'm gonna ruin it then. Rikanin, Kenobi, Grievous. You said it was general knowledge.
Yeah, just writing down.
Thank you. Okay. Woo! Oh, I was having a heart attack.
Question
Thanks,
one.
Marie. Appreciate the giggle.
Question 1 is for Ron. People can still guess in afterwards to steal the answer if Ron doesn't get it completely correct. Okay, so seen in The Phantom Menace, what is the name of the lightweight reconnaissance vehicles similar to the speeder bikes seen in Return of the Jedi, which are piloted by the Trade Federation's battle droids? They have a name. It's as classic with equipment. It's like a acronym.
Yeah, and it was Kurt. I'm gonna know this, but not that. It was the first figure released because it was a battle droid on a
hanging from a ceiling right now.
Battle droid hanging on a battle droid riding a man. I want to say ASP, but I don't think that's right.
I can understand why you're saying that, but it's not correct. Does anybody want to have a guess on this one? Put the number 1 in the chat and you can have a guess. You won't lose a point.
Nothing.
Is that Ricky? I thought it might be you. Have a guess. Go for it.
It's an air hopper.
Air hopper. You're closest. You're kind of closest. I can tell you. The acronym is STAP.
Stop! Yeah. Yes.
So I just want to randomly guess what it. You're not going to get a point, but then you want to guess what this STAP stands for?
Super Turbo Awesome Patrol Vehicle.
Single Trooper Aerial Platform.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was the first figure. It was released before the movie came out, and there was a battle droid on a staff, or riding a staff. Was an early release figure you found in stores. Definitely remember that, collecting that. And hey, Steven, so that we can get the chat thing right, you tell us what to put, some random number to put in there, because we're all typing the number in and just waiting to hit send. So
okay, I'll remind you of the number.
Tell us a letter or character or whatever to type in.
No, he's doing number question order, so that was the first one, so it's 1. So the next one's
I know, but I'm trying to even out how quickly we're typing stuff in. We got to wait for him to say what character we're going to type in.
Just have the number ready, just like your fingers over the button anyway.
Yeah,
Okay, Ricky. I'd actually put I'll say the question, but I'm not sure anyone's going to. So the question is question 2. Spell Lando Calrissian's middle name. First of all, you've got to know what it is. So I might give a point if people can at least know what it is. Well, I'll give half a point if you know what it is, and another half a point if you can actually spell it.
I don't. Are you saying when to ring in again? I don't know what you're doing here.
Yes, I am, but
I'll
go with the order already submitted. So you put 2 in there. So Ryan
Magnus.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm guessing
you got
Magnus. Yeah.
You got
nothing. It starts with an M, but I don't remember.
Okay, so Ryan put the number in first. So, do you know the name? Do you know to spell it?
Balthazar, Balthazar.
So we say Balth.
Azar is my guess, but I know it's Balthazar.
That's correct. Oh, that's correct. That's right.
It's Landonius Balthazar television.
Landana.
Dandonis Cororisium 3.
I thought L2 says Landonius.
Han Hoth. Ryan, that's your book reading coming into play?
Well, because it appeared in the Rise of Skywalker visual dictionary, and I was like, oh my gosh, his middle name is Balthazar? That's amazing. Like, it's such an awesome, and I've remembered that forever.
Yeah, no, I think as soon as you said it, I think maybe it kind of sounded like, oh yeah, I have heard that or I knew that, but boy, I don't know where or why or how or from.
As soon as I already thought his name was Lando Calrissian, but then once I realized it was Landonis Balthazar, I'm like, he just got so much cooler.
Again, how did you spell Balthazar, Stephen?
Exactly how it sounds.
Hazar.
Yeah,
Balthazar. It's Z-A-R.
Yeah, Z-A-R. As we say it.
So you'll say when the floor is open, right?
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
Okay, question 3 is for Ryan. I slightly changed it because there was 2 answers, but it's better if it's just one. I think. Right, so there are 6 bounty hunters that Darth Vader hires in Empire Strikes Back, which are Boba Fett, IG-88, Dengar, Bosk, I want to add another one in, Succus, and what's the name of the other one?
It's the one that looks like Succus, man. I remember I had this conversation with Ron because I was like, they have the same head, but like a different robot body. And I remember reading it in the comics, and I can picture it, but I got nothing. I could see it in my head, but I can't say it.
I remember having the toy. This one. Oh, Marie's. I'm going to say put 3 in. Put 3 in if you want to guess in, and
that's too early.
Marie's already in there, so I'm going to be generous because one is miles ahead before we even know it. So, Marie.
Whoa, she rang in early. She rang in early though.
No.
The judge's decision is final.
You just
that's why he's the chancellor.
That's why I'm the chancellor. I am the Senate. I am the quizmaster.
I am the Senate.
Okay, Marie.
4 LOM.
Correct.
I knew it was something weird, robotic like that.
You know, he's going through the list of bounty hunters, and I'm like, oh man, I don't know who it is. Right up until he says there's IGL, Dengar, and Zuckus. And I'm like, oh, well then there has to be 4-LOM, and he didn't mention 4-LOM, so it's got to be 4-LOM. If he doesn't do the list of ones and say which one's missing or which one of the... If he doesn't say Zuckus, basically, I would have been in trouble. We all know what LOM stands for?
Love or money.
Yep, for the love of money.
I didn't know that. No.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Okay, question 4 is Marie's. I will tell you when to put the number in the chat.
Will you?
Okay.
Unless you feel like not doing it.
Yeah, I'm going to be a bit more stringent now. The infamous vehicle piloted by Luke in Empire Strikes Back was commonly known as a slow speeder, but what was its official name?
Oh my gosh, I know this too.
I'm just gonna delete my number.
It is a
What movie was it?
Empire Strikes Back.
Empire Strikes Back. Okay.
Hey, no help from the kitty cat.
No, that just sounded like it. That almost sounded like.
I heard them trying to feed you an answer, or wanting fed, one or the other.
He just wants to be fed because I opened up a box of his new food. And he wants to taste it, but you know what? I'm gonna pass it and open up the floor because I had this in my head and now I can't remember it. I have a number in my head, but I know it's the right one.
Ricky's in Crooked and 2 Rickies. So okay, go for it, Ricky.
It's STNT.
STNT. It's not what I've got written down here.
No.
Is 1170 or 170 in the mix at all?
No, I haven't got that here either.
So basically, what's the designation of a snow speeder, right? Is what you're asking?
I imagine so. Yes.
The actual, like the number, and
it's got a number, like like an at or something like that, and a number, and it's also.
Everybody got it wrong, so.
I think it's ARC 170 or ARC 1170, but nope, that's not it.
That's what I've got. I tell you, well, doesn't like anybody's going to get that one. It's what I've got down anyway, thanks to Wikipedia, is a T-47 airspeeder.
Yeah.
I almost said Z95, but I was like, I know that's not right.
97X.
It's like a
Bang.
radio station. Bang. The
Rock and roll.
Rock and roll.
1, 2, 3.
97X.
I think we're down to Ron. It's one again now. Damn it! Why did I give you the easy ones? Okay. In the Phantom Menace, Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon Jinn, and Jar Jar Binks use a bongo to travel from the Gungan underworld city to the Naboo capital. But what is it is two-part answer, so I'll give you half a point for each. But what is the name of the Gungan capital and Naboo's capital city? Half a point for each. So we want the name of the Naboo capital and the Gungan capital.
Feed.
Yep. That's the Naboo capital.
We should go on underwater now. Okie dokie.
No, that's not it. That's a bit of a silly name.
Okie day. Okie day. We should go on underwater now. Okie day.
I'm impressed with your remembrance of Jar Jar. I don't think it's going to come to you.
Yeah, nope. I'm trying. I'm going through the movie in the head, and it's
half a point. I'm giving you half a point for Freed. Ricky's already bumped in. I've even said open the floor, but I'm going to be generous because Ron's so far ahead. Ricky?
Otagunga.
Otagunga, correct.
Yeah. Good thing this isn't multiple guess.
Okay, Christian.
Where is that? Is that said? That's said in the movie, though, right?
It's on a Monopoly game.
Is it said in the movie? Because I'm trying to go through the movie, and he doesn't he say? Or do we know that from the books? Maybe that's why I couldn't pull it.
It is in the books. It is in the book, though. It's in the novelization. I just read that.
Yeah, clearly it's going to be in those, but yeah, do we know it to be in the movie? So we'll rewatch a Phantom Menace is in order.
Right.
I think there's Gunga City in the Phantom Menace.
Question 6 for Ricky. In Bad Batch, this is too easy actually because we just talked about it. In Bad Batch, what's the name of the Trandoshan female who resides on an Ord Mantell who runs the cantina and provides work for the gang?
Sid.
Correct. I don't know why I put that in. I thought, why did I put that in there? It's just so easy. Question 7, which is for Ryan. In the book of Boba Fett, what is the name of the Ithorian mayor of Mos Espa on Tatooine?
The Ithorian. I won't get his name. I don't remember it.
Anybody know?
I just watched it.
Yeah, you just watched it. You just said that.
Anybody want to guess?
Oh, I know it. I know it.
Oh, one's put number in. Go for it, Ron.
I don't think it's the right number. No, I don't know that I know his name now. Governor or nope, don't know it.
He's a mayor.
He's not a governor. He's a mayor.
He's a mayor.
Nope.
It's Ricky.
Wait. Mok Shaiz, right?
Yes.
Mok Shaiz.
Mayor Mok Shaiz. Yeah, I'll give you that one. It's close enough.
Yeah. See, it sounds familiar when you say it. I just don't have any memory for it.
And question 8, lastly for Marie.
Yes.
Which character who appeared in the Book of Boba Fett was nicknamed Santo by Garza Flip and Boba Fett?
Was nicknamed what?
Santo.
Ryan knows this one.
Ryan
Do I?
Sure.
You'd surprise me. That'd surprise me if I did.
It's quite obvious when you think about it, but I mean, in the question you would go, what? Santo? It's not Father Christmas.
Santa.
And he's not a saint either, is he?
No, it's a character who was in the Book of Boba Fett. The nickname is very close to their name.
I don't know it.
Okay. Well, I'll open up then. Ricky sounds like he knows anyway. Go for it, Ricky.
Chrysanthemum.
Correct.
Oh.
Gosh.
That's why I said Ryan knows this one.
Oh, God.
Yep.
Think of it. I was like,
Should we spell it?
No, I can't spell it.
Santos.
Santos, yeah.
That's a Krasst.
It's 2 R's, man.
Is it 2
Kirstanton.
Rs?
it is.
I know, I can see everybody here hasn't got time for a fourth round, so I will top up the answers for this. And what we'll probably do is try to throw in the next round in a little spoil quiz at the next show. Because would like to do that because I spent a bit of time on it. So I think so. In round 3, 0.5 for Ron, 3.5 for Ricky, 1 for Ryan, and 1 for Marie.
Yes.
So now I've just got to try and add this all up. I don't need to. One's 1, isn't it? But let's try and get the final scores here. I'll just put them all together. 7, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so Ron has 8, 9, 10. Ron has 11 points. Rookie has 7 points. Ryan has 3.5 points.
Yeah.
Marie has 5.5 points. So that makes the winner of the annual Positively Star Wars Podcast Senate, Clash of the Tiger, Crouch of the Hidden Dragon, Race of the Hidden Saturday annual quiz winner this year, 2023, is Ron.
Woohoo!
Congrats.
All those Andor questions.
And I will use round 4 for mini Chris in the next episode, so you won't get away with it. It's a little bit of fun as well. Maybe I can add in some of the questions we didn't get time for this episode.
Yeah,
Like
come
the
up
longest
with
podcast we've
what was it? Quotes. Come up with 2 other quotes so that you have one for each. Well, that's all more of a show.
Yeah, we can add them in, but it won't be. You won't be playing for the annual quiz championship. Which now, Ricky, you have to hand up your trophy over to Ron.
Yeah, ship that as soon as you can.
Yeah. And you'll be playing for the honour of the mini Chris trophy next episode. So hopefully, I hope you all enjoyed that. I put time in.
Stephen,
effort.
appreciate your time. Yeah, thank you for that. Is
Not a good
always
question.
fun. That is always fun.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Sorry that some of the questions were really complicated and some of them were really daftly stupid, but numbers one is always quite fun, really, because it's always guessable for everybody. So that's why I did that. So thank you very much, everybody, for participating. I hope you enjoyed the quiz, and we will see you on the next episode of, what's it called, Ricky?
I don't remember. No. Positively Star Wars.
Positively Star Wars Senate podcast. Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
And that's a wrap. We're off.
Go switch off.
I am the Senate.
Be sure to join us on February 7th for a special Star Wars Podcast Day 2023 episode of the Positively Star Wars Senate podcast. Follow us online. Join our Positively Star Wars Facebook group. You can find us on Twitter on Instagram. We're at PSW Senate Podcast, and on TikTok we're at PSW Senate Podcast.
The Force will be with you, always.
or damn near the entire episode was at night or in the dark. It was a very dark episode from a lighting standpoint. They didn't have to worry about shadows and.
This is recording at the volume.
Hey, Ricky. Good morning, Ricky.
Yeah. Oh, other people. Oh, blimey! Everybody's just saying, does somebody arrived? Very good. Me and Ron were just having a little one-on-one there for 5 minutes. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
I was listening to Marva's speech. Well, I was just
we can hear you.
Can anyone hear me? Hello?
Yep. Good morning.
Yep,
I hear Marie.
Good
I hear Ricky, and I hear everyone.
Yeah, I was just trying to work out what, as I said to Ron, what episode number this was, and if I go by count back on Podbean, this is episode number 34. So that sounds a bit more exciting at the start of the speech.
Technically, one of those is the trailer, so.
Is it? Oh, I've got to take one off. I took off the two. I like that two ones. Which one's the trainer then? I was saying to Ron, I was pleased to see that one of our episodes has beaten the Batman into second place.
It has?
Our Shadow of the Sith episode has now got more downloads than Batman.
Oh, really? Well, I guess it's good that Star Wars is taking control of its own podcast. So
yeah, indeed. Right, so this is episode 33 then. Today, I've changed.
Sure.
We were discussing the use of episode numbers or the dates or whatever. I kind of like the dates, but I thought since we did episode 1, we should do another milestone. I was thinking episode 50, but then I thought, well, no, we should save it to episode 66. But then, what's the next Star Wars number? Because I think 1138 would take us a very long time to get to. So, is there a number in the 100s?
Well, this episode is actually half an execution order, isn't it? So it's half order 66. So we're halfway there to executing order 66.
Half a yo.
Yeah, half. Yeah, half a yo. No, yeah, don't get me going on that one. Yeah, you said to me, what's half a yo-yo? I said, well, broken. I still not quite getting some of this. I'm looking at it, say what you say. I'm looking at it and going, well, that's half a yo. It's a half a yo-yo. What's that got to do with anything? Yeah, I'm a bit slow to those things, but I do enjoy trying to work them out. In fact, some of them I still haven't worked on. I try not to look at the comments because that's just cheating. Once you see the comments, you know it. But
well, certainly, yeah, it makes. Then trying to figure out how it gets there, it's like, oh, okay, half a yo-yo. I get it now. I see where it's going for. Like I say, some of them are clearly, clear, and others are a bit of a stretch. But the best they had to go with.
Yeah, I didn't get that one because I know it's Yoda, but I was like, where are they getting this second syllable from? Because it's not working for me.
I had to explain it to my nephew. Yo dear, say it fast. Some people with an R, yo dear, yo dear, Yoda. That's where you have to go. It's
they have somebody with the weird accent making those cards.
And there's a fighter, so it's TIE fighter. And other times it's yo dear, and you have to get a bit of a stretch and say, oh, it must be going for Yoda.
Because I was looking at it going, Yodo. No, it's not working for me.
Or I guess doe. Yeah, you could do Yodo because it is it's a fawn, isn't it?
It's a fawn. Yeah, I was like, fawn. No, that's not working.
Anyway, I'll say this for the chat, but that was a Christmas gift. But it's currently in Five Belows. If you have a Five Below,
that's where
someone
I do,
picked
and
it
it's
up
right next door to Sephora.
Double dipping. Yeah, and they also have a neat Mando on a speeder with Grogu. It's kind of a static toy figure type of thing, whatever. It's not all posable and everything, but it's a cool $5 Mando on a. It's pretty decent size. It's maybe a foot long. Anyway, yeah, some good stuff out there.
You can just keep going
forever. Everybody officially stopped calling Grogu Baby Yoda now? Then
I still do it sometimes.
Yeah, I do it sometimes too.
I still do on occasion if I'm talking to somebody who wouldn't know what I'm talking about if I said Grogu.
Yeah, that is true. There'd be a lot of people who's going, yeah. That's what's kind of really helped it grow from the base. If you go, oh, look, Baby Yoda, you see Baby Yoda, you see Baby Yoda. You say, you've seen
You think
Grogu.
there's people that actually
How you
think
talking
it's
about
Baby Yoda, like that don't know anything
Oh
about
God,
Star
yeah.
Of course
They're
there
like,
are.
oh,
There's more people think it's truly Baby Yoda than no, it's not. I would suggest, because the lay fan, anybody that sees that stuff out at Walmart and everything else is just like, oh, that's that Baby Yoda. You know, they're not.
Okay, post 2005, how many people would ask what a Sith is?
yeah,
Do
that's
you
true.
think? My license plate says Sith girl. I still get people going, what is that supposed to mean? Have you ever watched Star Wars?
Well, mine says Bort on it, which is a Simpsons reference, so I get all sorts of.
I love it.
Well, I want to dissect Marie's Sith girl. So, have you ever watched Star Wars? Because we don't get Sith in the original trilogy at all, right?
But post
He's
2005, people still ask about it. It's like,
yeah,
dude,
he's
it's in the title of one of the movies.
well, touche. So right, yeah.
And in
First,
episode 1, like he says a Sith Lord, and so it's
Yeah,
so
it was in all
that's
the
what I'm
ads.
saying. The original trilogy, we knew he was a Lord of the Sith, but only from the Topps trading cards, if I recall correctly. But the movies,
That
you're
was
right.
the entire point, because
F1
that was supposed to be a deep cut.
brings it right in your face.
Yeah, it would have been a deep cut. You would have only known it. I mean, point still stands. People still don't know because they're not Star Wars fans. But even like the most tangentially acquainted with Star Wars these days gets it. In order to not get it at all, you would have to have never seen a movie or
it's
never
like not
paid
knowing
that
what
much
an
attention.
Ewok is. Yeah.
No,
Right.
yeah, not pop culture, not knowing who Batman is to some extent. I worked with a lady who was my age and so grew up in the heyday of Star Wars clearly, and had never seen Star Wars. Didn't see it back in the day. I'm like,
How long were they in a coma for?
Yeah, right. You know, she was, but I was just like, how did your parents? Yeah, it was the thing of the thing in '77. How did you not? Where did you grow up? That you're
Mother
just
took me
like,
to see
nope, never
Star
saw it.
Wars. Talk about being not part of the zeitgeist.
Well, it'd be even worse if somebody said, "What's Star Wars? I've never heard of it." That would be taking it to another step, wouldn't it? Really, if they've never heard the two words put together ever.
Okay, the person that's never heard of it, what order do you have them watch the movies?
Yeah, exactly. That's the old class in it. Original. It's not the original order.
Watch Rogue One first, then go back to episode 1.
Should we get started since we have a lot of
Let's get started. We've got to get the road on the show. The show on the road, even. That's a good start, isn't it? Good job we've got a script written down here. I was never able to say a title properly. Okay. So everybody's ready.